I'm Commander Shepard, and the Unnamed Games podcast is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Shepard out.
Hello, people of the internet. We are back. We've had a week off. We're well rested. We've had a lovely little chilly time. And we're back to talk some game shiznizzle. This week...
Whoa, hold on. I have to stop you there. We're here to talk about what?
Games shiznizzle. I don't know what that means, but yeah. What is? I don't know. It's like a funny little...
That's one of those things that your granddad says at the wedding party. we're all going to have a little bit of shiznizzle.
Do you know what, Alan?
Have you been smoking that wacky bucky?
It is the perfect description of exactly what that word was. It's the thing, even the drunk uncle or the granddad goes, the shiznizzle.
So, hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the Grandpa Games podcast. It's not far off anyway, really, is it? Bunch of old.
I had to get reading glasses this week. We're definitely getting towards grandpa.
There we go. There we go. Look, nice. So for audio listeners, obviously I'm Craig, as per usual. With me, you have Mr. Ratster Tweets. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I've had a good day, to be fair. I've had a very good day, so I'm feeling good. Obviously, you know why. I won't go into it. It's not. I
think maybe it would be nice to hear, because I don't think Alan's heard why you had a good day.
Well,
Go on.
I'll just. This is a little thing that I've got. This is new to my little background.
Did you get that back sack and crack again?
Mate, it's better than a back sack and crack. I mean, yeah. So I went to the Fen Model Show today, the first ever Fen Model Show, which was a miniature painting show, not a competition per se, but a show where people that exhibited their current works and their minis. And I was just there to see some friends and hang out. I bought some of my models to show them. And I was encouraged by a friend of mine to exhibit my stuff. I wasn't really there to show it off. I put a few models out, and I won a prize from one of the sponsors for my work, and also I got a commended position from the judges for my work, which there were only 3 of these given out. There was, I'm kind of made up because the standard was insanely high. So I'm absolutely flabbergasted. Absolutely, the shiznizzle here. Is now I'm super. That's really made my day, and I'm super happy. I put my Mando in. Who I'm not sure if Craig's got a picture of him. I've sent him, so you might be trying to find him now. I've got a feeling.
Just literally having a little look, and I was going to say, if you don't mind, I was going to show people.
Yeah, well, you can put the Mando. Yeah, he's. I'm kind of proud with him. So
ready. So what you're saying is, Chris, is that many generations from now, that looks astonishing. Many generations from now, when I'm brought out of hibernetic, incubation.
I know where this is going.
100 years from now, when you finally painted my Critical Role minis that I gave you a year and a half ago after having my heart attack, that they'll actually be award-winning minis.
They will be spectacular, mate. They're going to have. I promise you, there'll be a special display for them and all that stuff. It's going to look wicked. I promise you.
I would say I was waiting with bated breath, but I would seriously be.
You'd be dead. You'd be dead, mate. I mean, I did say to you, it'll take me some time. I won't be quick. I must admit, even by my standards, this is slow. So I have to be honest. But they will. I promise you, they will.
They will have soon, pride of place.
And they will look.
On my space age levitating shelf, held up by AI robots.
Oh, nice.
Where your brain in a jar can look at them happily for eternity.
Congrats, Chris. It's a skill. It really is a skill. And I look at the stuff that Craig's doing, and he's just starting out on his mini adventure and doing some great work. I never had the patience for it, I think his stuff looks really, really great. And then you look at your stuff and you think, actually, Craig's stuff's shit. Because
I wholeheartedly agree with you, mate.
I'm joking. I'm joking. He's actually been painting some miniatures for our D&D game this week, and they look fantastic. He's painted one for an NPC character, Sildar, because I've had to play this character and we hadn't had a mini for him, and he's just thrown it together in a couple of days, and it looks fantastic. It really, really does, and he shouldn't put himself down about it. But your stuff is like at a completely another level, man. It's astonishing. Really, really is.
Appreciate you, man. That's really kind of you say. I will say I'm just on Craig's minis, and I think this is really important if you do any kind of creative thing, especially like I mini paint. I've been doing it for a lot of time. I take it very seriously. If you just paint to have fun and you paint, as long as what you do is fun and you enjoy it, it doesn't matter whether it's good or not. There isn't a prerequisite in the world because you take up a hobby of miniature painting or drawing or painting or whatever, or making music, that you have to be good at it. Or what you have to do if it's your hobby is you have to enjoy it, and it has to give you some kind of pleasure in the world. And I know that Craig's enjoying his mini painting, and I will say this, and I've said it to him, and it's not me blowing smoke. Craig's miniature painting is great for how long he's been painting. He does a really great job for tabletop standard miniatures, and probably a little bit above a lot of people who've been painting for longer than him as well. I think Craig does a really good job, and I think, you know, as long as he's enjoying it, I'll encourage him to do it, and I'll encourage anyone else. And you know, it's that's the thing. I paint to that standard because I enjoy it, but it's a tedious and long drawn process, so it can be something where, you know, you don't always get, like, people can't always focus that long and don't enjoy that process. So if you just want to put a mini out and you want to enjoy it, you do that. Do what makes you feel happy. You know, and that's all it should be. A hobby should be about fun first. Proficiency and skill at it is something, if you wish to pursue it, you do that. But too many people focus on they've got to be good, they've got to win a golden demon or an award, or, you know, have a chart in single or something. You just got to enjoy it. Be honest with yourself and have fun with it.
The thing is, though, mate, not everyone's lucky to have a award-winning mentor like me. So I've got my core award winner that can teach me the ropes.
Mate, I like to share that hobby. You know, I love of what I do, and I like to share it. And I think that comes through of anyone. If you enjoy what you do, you'll share it with people. And I think, you know, that's why we're all here. That's Luke. Luke's just put something which is very kind of him.
Oh, he finished something for a friend. That's lovely.
He paid me. Yeah, Alan, he paid me. He paid me, mate. You did.
You said you'd do it for free. I've offered to pay for it.
Yeah, but I said I'd do it for free. It's different. But I did that. That was a thing. And I will say this. Luke sent me a video of him unboxing that, and it made my day. He was so happy. So that made my day.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, I'm sure, Alan, I'll get a video from you when you unbox your minis. And that'll equally
by the
make
time
my
I
day.
get them, it won't be a video. It'll be like a 3D virtual reality environment.
His carer will be opening while he's in his bed, like...
I'll just be sitting there drooling out the side of my mouth or being held alive by machines, and they'll go, "Look, Alan, look, it's Fjord, the half-orc fighter from Critical. I think I've pooed myself."
Oh, mate.
No,
so
that's
funny,
good.
So funny.
No,
Nice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Chris. Well done.
Thank you, man.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Okie dokie. And, well, a bit late on intros here, but also that was Alan yammering away there, but I'm sure you've probably recognised his voice after all this time. So, this week, a little bit different, because normally we go through what we've been up to, but actually we've had a date come up for the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, which is June the 12th, which we are rather all excited about.
Weekend of drinking and eating.
Yes, definitely. So, I think
Does that
we
mean
mentioned on
breakfast
here
now?
before.
Breakfast at
That
stag?
means the stag,
Yes.
my friend.
Stag
Yes, it
breakfast,
does.
yeah. That
Shout
is
out to the
commencement of
stag
weekend.
in Elmswell. Quality breakfast.
Hell yes, hell yes. I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, we do, we'll get together and we just have a weekend of just hanging out and just, you know, playing games, having barbecues, having drinks and stuff, and just having a good time, and then watching these showcases. So we were a little bit concerned when, you know, the announcement came out that E3 was cancelled, but, you know, we were quietly confident that Xbox was still going to pull it out the bag and bring something around the usual time. The only thing we've still got to wait for is whether Ubisoft are going to do something, because I think they're the only ones who still haven't either pulled out or...
Depends who owns them by that point, quite frankly.
I was saying, rumours abound. Rumours abound.
Very good point. Very good point. Maybe that's one for another video. But
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's Microsoft, we know it's coming out 12th of June. I mean,
that's it. That's it.
Hey, just tag on a bit of tape with
Yeah.
Ubisoft written on it at the end.
Xbox Bethesda.
yeah.
So, right, what we decided we'd do for this one is we thought let's go through all of the sort of 23 Xbox Studios or Xbox Bethesda Studios that we know about, and kind of talk about, you know, what they're up to, what the studios are, and maybe talk about, you know, are we going to see anything from them at this showcase? You know, maybe talk about those games. I haven't included the Activision stuff because at the moment, I mean, there's still a chance that won't go through, you know, and it's, even if it does, it's still probably another year away before that actually kicks off. So we'll just kick with the standard stuff. So let's get started.
Because there's not enough of that, right? Like
I know. This still could be quite a long podcast. Which is not like
Which
us,
is
right?
Yeah, I mean that's weird because me and Chris we hardly ever talk for a long time, do we?
Yeah,
No,
we
not
didn't.
at all.
We didn't start a podcast every week ago. We haven't really got much to talk about. Then 2.5 hours later, be like, done. Well, we can
Yeah.
still go.
Pretty sure that was the longest one we've ever done as well.
Yeah, I think it was as well. Yeah. Or the one where Phil tried to cut everything short. That was
So
also
you
a 2-hour one as well.
You did it as long as you could.
Yeah.
Not that we do that to Phil ever. No, not at all.
Oh.
But I think
by
that
the way, Shane Phil's not here tonight. He's got a busy job of moving his 3 or 4 boxes from his old house to his new house. I mean, it's I can understand. Obviously he's a bit snowed under with moving all his porn mags, and his computer gear and a duvet. Having moved house myself 6 months ago, I can totally sympathise with that.
To be fair, though, Alan, he did come and help you move house, so you should probably.
He certainly did.
Because he didn't ask you to help him, did he?
And
He doesn't need to. He's got 3 boxes.
No, hold on, Alan. I think you might be underestimating exactly how much porn Phil has.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what it is. It's the table, isn't it? It's the display table.
table.
That he's got to dismantle it.
table.
He's got to take the labels off. He's got to take the legs off it. He's got to pack the legs. He's then got to take the tabletop and then take the
Those
legs.
DVD cases
He's got some empty display boxes that he's got to put into bigger boxes. So I mean, you can see obviously that's obviously going to take a long time. I totally understand.
Oh, Phil, if you're listening, I'm not sorry. It's quite funny.
Yeah, you asked for it.
Neither am I.
Anyway, right. So let's get kicking off then. So first one we've got up is going in alphabetical order here at the start. Anyway, Arcane Studios, which obviously
Oh, the misery.
Yeah, not the same Arcane. I knew that was coming out. So Arcane, they're the ones who specialise in immersive sim type adventure games and responsible for some of Bethesda's most acclaimed games so far. They're best known for Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, Dishonored, Prey, Deathloop as well, which was the PS5 console exclusive, which kind of was the one that sort of ticked over just around that acquisition. Now they have an upcoming game which is an open world co-op vampire shooter that was announced in 2021, and it's set to be released at the moment, summer 2022, and that is Redfall. I'll put up on the screen there. So I think all we've seen of that one so far has been a CGI trailer, isn't it?
It's a fun trailer. Yeah. It's a nice trailer. I get a definite Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood feel from it. I know it's open world, but as far as you've got your 4 players,
the gameplay certainly had that
exactly.
kind of,
The gameplay kind of feels like that. It seems like you've got like some sort of magic-infused character, one scientist-type character, little mini robot thing. So a lot of little elements in that CGI. We haven't obviously seen any gameplay, but as far as what they're kind of showing in as far as what the game might be, and obviously there's a lot of supposition there, it very much looks like a kind of Left 4 Dead in an open world situation where you'll go into an area and your kind of play style will be very much like Back 4 Blood, that kind of thing. But I might be completely wrong. It looks interesting. I do like the premise of vampires. There's a lot of play in that, and we've seen far too few vampire games coming out. In Masquerade, was it Bloodlines, the new ones? But it's been delayed.
There is one that recently come out that's a free-to-play like battle royale. Is that
exactly
Vampire Masquerade or something?
I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm a big fan of zombie games, and they've been, there's obviously been like a great glut of them over the past few years. But I can't say I've seen quite so many vampire games, and there's a lot of lore and a lot of I think a lot of tread in that, and it might be quite interesting for something a bit different, whilst having a similar sort of gameplay to what we're used to.
Yeah, I think that the fact with the stuff that Arcane does. Now, I played a lot of the first Dishonored. I only ever started the second one, and I do need to go back to it because it's supposed to be amazing. But the thing I found with that, and Prey to some degree as well, is the fact that the kind of complete open world sandbox environment, well, not so much open world, it was almost hub worlds, if you like, but the fact that you can kind of approach any scenario from any possible way you can imagine, because the abilities to kind of teleport across the map, or there was ways you could transform yourself into a fish and swim through sewer ducts, and it was just, you could be so creative with how you kind of stealthily attacked an objective. It was really, really interesting once you really got into it. And I think the possibilities of having 4-player co-op, all with different types of abilities that could all play off each other, and the pedigree of that studio, I mean, it could be something pretty special.
I can kind of see. Sorry, Chris. I can kind of see some of the the abilities and things that they've had in Dishonored and Prey. I can see how some of those would really transpose into this kind of game.
The teleportation,
said, the teleportation thing.
And
I'm immediately thinking about maybe if there's like a Left 4 Dead versus mode where you got some people playing as vampires and you can just voop around the map and stuff like that. Looks pretty cool. But as I said, we haven't seen anything. But I can definitely see some of those special abilities being something that would work really well in that kind of environment.
I think my only concern might be in that respect that it could end up being just that game with different skin on it, if that makes sense, and then co-op tacked on. But but again, this studio, you would think you could almost say that about Prey versus Dishonored. Like, it's just a sci-fi Dishonored, right? But they aren't. There's a fundamental. I mean, I never really got on with Dishonored, but I really enjoyed Prey. It might just be a setting thing. I prefer sci-fi to fantasy. This is true, but. For me, they felt significantly different. Whilst there were similarities in those two things, they were very different things. So again, maybe making this a bit more light-hearted, because I certainly got the impression from the trailer that it wasn't as hardcore, if you like. It was a more light-hearted, fun experience. I mean, there certainly was still some grimness to it, but it wasn't like like proper hardcore vampire nastiness. It was like, hey, this is quite fun. They've got a bit of banter and a bit of so
Deathloop seems like it may have a bit of that as well.
It's the Grandpa Podcast Strikes Back.
I do like the visuals that Arcane tend to go for. I mean,
it's quite stylised, isn't it?
Exactly. Dishonored was a very, very unique environment with the kind of steampunk kind of environment. They built a lot of lore and back history into it, with like stuff like that, and with the whale fat and all of that, and the whole society built around that, and that was really interesting. And then you go into Prey, and again, a very different aesthetic with the space and the creatures. You've never seen anything quite like the monsters that you saw in Prey before that came along. So they've definitely got a very keen eye for something that's a little bit different. And just from the 2 or 3 minute trailer that they've released, it kind of looks like there's a lot of length to the different types of maybe vampires. At the very end of the trailer, they're going, oh, it's nearly daytime, and there's a vampire sort of turning its hand, turning it back to nighttime kind of thing. And it's kind of like, there's some really good kind of cool ideas playing off there. I'm quite interested. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
I think it's definitely going to be. I would really think at this point, if it's still coming out 2022 summer, we've got to see it at the show. It's got to be there. It's got to be something there. 100%. So I'm excited to see what it's going. And I think there'll be an update regardless, even if it's going to get delayed and pushed back. I think we're going to see something of it this time.
Yeah. So if it's summer, it's saying summer 2022. Could this be it's available now, like Showstopper kind of?
Could be.
You can play this now.
Like 2, it's like a week or 2,
Yeah,
and it's like,
maybe
why not?
demo's out now.
That would also be very typical of Bethesda in the way they tend to do things, isn't it? It's like, hey, here's the game. Yeah, it's available in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
pre-order it if you want. If not, wait till it comes along. It's like,
and of course, another big point: it's going to be available on day one on Game Pass, which is going to be an awful lot.
Yes,
of things we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
so
all of them. Yeah,
all of these. Everything we're talking about here.
Yeah. So, but that's another big point, isn't it? The Microsoft showcase. Here we go. Here's another game. Oh, by the way, it's available at the end of the show. Go and get it.
Yeah. Imagine that you're literally watching it and you just click. You can just start downloading it.
It's
well, maybe on your download, Craig. No, maybe not on my.
Well, no, you can start it downloading. You can start downloading. You won't be able to play it for a week.
By the time Phil's finished reading off his shopping list, yours will be downloaded. Yeah, well, I say Phil Spencer, not Phil Thompson. Yeah. But I'll still be sitting there later on in the evening waiting for it.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to show up. It would be awesome though if they do, because they were talking about this thing, wasn't they? Phil was saying like it was going to be a game a week, wasn't it? At some point, wasn't it a game a week? It was
game a month. I think
game a month. Wouldn't it be great if they went, and this is this month's game, and it's downloadable on this date, this date, and they just give you the dates. Each one's going to be available. That'd be wicked. But yeah, I think it'll be. It's going to be there for sure at this event. I think we'll see a release date. I reckon it might be a little bit later than just right now. I reckon probably August time is my gut feeling. I reckon it'll be the end of summer.
Yeah,
that's my gut feeling.
I think that's probably fair to say. It would be cool though if they dropped
that'd be awesome,
an
mate.
absolute
That'd be
banger
awesome.
like that.
To be honest, there are a lot more games on this list that I would be a lot more excited about dropping.
Well, we
Don't get me
know-
wrong, I'd like the look of it, but there's some ones there that I'd be like, if they announce that's available, I'm just
Yeah, there's one in particular which isn't going to happen. But if they suddenly went, oh, by the way, we've been keeping it secret, it's this far along, I'd be like, you know, I'd lose my mind. So yeah,
Cool. Right. Okay. So we think Redfall. We definitely think we're going to see it. And we think we
Definitely
don't
want to
today,
watch.
but We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
I think it's going to be fun.
Right.
I think it's going to be a fun game.
yeah.
Okie dokie. Right, next one we got on the list then. Bethesda Game Studios. So the
Who are they?
Core... Yeah, who are they? Nobody's heard of them. They've
Small
not really given
independent
any
company, I believe.
name. Yeah. So those are the guys responsible for, obviously, the Elder Scrolls, the Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind.
For
and obviously
taking
the Fallout
so many
series.
years of my life away from me,
Yeah.
I should be suing them, quite frankly.
But they're joyful hours.
Well, let's not talk about Fallout 76, shall we?
Well,
It's
yeah,
not all
but there
been
wasn't that
sunshine,
many hours
so-
off on that one. I know I tried it with you. It
That's
was
true. That's true.
Yeah, that was not great. A lot better now, but yeah, no, it's too little, too late for me. So yeah, as we say, those ones best known for the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. Also things like Fallout Shelter. They also did Elder Scrolls Blades on the
It's quite
mobile
good.
device.
I played that for a while. That was
Yeah,
pretty
I
decent.
did.
Actually, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a
I enjoyed it.
mobile game, it was pretty slick, I have to say.
Yeah, it was all right. And they also did the VR versions of Elder Scrolls, the Skyrim, and also Fallout as well, didn't they? So, upcoming games for them. We know there's obviously a rather big title that a lot of people are talking about that they're working on. The first new universe in 25 years, which is Starfield, which obviously I'm massively psyched for Starfield. I cannot wait for this game. And that's due in November of 2022. So... what do we think? Do we see Stargate? Starfield, that's what it is.
I'd be amazed if they weren't going to show something, although there's already rumours coming around that there might be some delays and it may not show this year, although they do seem very convicted in their November date. However, there has been, and I know that the article has been kind of not exactly proven as accurate or real, but there has been a negative article recently come out. Yeah,
It's clickbait of the
basically.
highest order.
But you know, you don't know the full story. We don't know. We haven't heard anything. And as there's the nature
Yeah.
of these things, maybe there is a kernel of truth to it. Maybe there
Let's just
are
put
issues.
a little context into that. It was an article that came out. I can't even remember where it came from. It was like Gaming Bible or somewhere I saw it on. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually the most high credibility of sources, but it was titled something along the lines of Starfield. Ex-Starfield dev says game is crap or something like that.
Engine is a piece of
Game engine is a piece of crap.
That was it. Yeah. So, but when you actually look into it, it's just kind of talking generally about like the amount
It came
of stuff.
from doublexp.com. There you go. That's how
Yeah, there
credible
you
this
go.
is, by the way. There you go. Doublexp.com.
Yeah.
Well, the main issue is they've tried to reach out to both the reviewer that put it up and the insider guy, and neither one is responding to messages,
Yeah.
and it's all a bit sus, isn't it? But
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if they're going to say that the Bethesda engine is crap, I mean, we all know that. It's
Newsflash: water
Yeah.
is wet. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
you mean the same engine they've been using since the beginning of time?
Yeah. That they just make it look a little bit prettier every time.
Yeah.
But it's still
and then
janky as
sell
well.
the game to you again for more money. Yeah.
And we all still buy it again
Yeah.
and again
Well,
and again.
My 14 copies of Skyrim, including my fridge edition.
But sorry, Anne, you were saying. So do you think we'll see it here?
I do think we'll see it. If the date is set, I really do believe we'll see something. And I mean, I know that they've been fairly regular in their updates, if not showing actual gameplay, but at least giving updates for the core, their feeling behind how they're creating the game and some of the core systems. And they've had online discussions. I think they've got like a monthly or bi-monthly kind of pod thing that they send
Like
out.
a behind the scenes type thing they do?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So they are kind of keeping people updated with where they are with it, and there hasn't been anything that's sort of come out and gone, we're in trouble and we're really behind and it's not going to happen. So you would have expected that to happen at this point, but they are also quite guilty, apparently, Bethesda of the big crunch. So we'll wait and see. But I would be very surprised if we didn't see anything, and I certainly would be very excited to see something.
Yeah.
But apprehensively, because I still haven't forgiven Todd. He's still in my bad books. He's still in
It's
my
Fallout
bad
76.
books. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the. I mean, I think Fallout is a great example with Fallout 4, and I think 3 as well was a case of when it was announced at E3, it was like 3-4 months later it was out. So they do this generally. They don't show anything until right near the end, and you have just a couple of months run up to it.
Which after the CDPR debacle is probably a good way to go.
I actually, whether or not you like think the product is high quality, I actually really like the way Bethesda do this. I mean, I'm not a big Bethesda person, but I think it's the most honest. They're the most honest company in that respect, because they show up when they showed off Fallout 76, it looked like a piece of crap, and it turned out it was exactly what they advertised it as. It was a piece of crap. But you can't ever say Bethesda lied to you about it. Yeah, you can't say Bethesda lied to you about it, because we all saw it and went, that looks rubbish, and everyone still bought it. I mean, I didn't, because like I say, I don't really much care, but I know a lot of people who were going to buy it regardless, right? But at least they didn't go and do a CDPR and say it's got all this stuff in it, or do a Aliens Colonial Marines and show this completely false trailer and then go, hey, that's a real thing. And we went,
sorry, listeners, I've set Chris off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it is true. This is I like this. And I genuinely hope that when we see Starfield, it's a representative of the final build, and it's like you say, here's Starfield. It's going to be available in 3 months. Go get it.
One of the big things for me is you listen to Todd Howard talk about it, and he's excited. And primarily, Todd Howard has always been a game developer that is a gamer at heart, and he wants to make games that excite and interest him. And when you see, I can't say that he was he didn't look especially excited when talking about 76 or Elder Scrolls Online, but when he talks about Starfield, he is genuinely excited to share these new things that they're doing and how they're making this new world, and how they're excited because it's something new that him and his team are working on. They're not doing another Elder Scrolls, they're not doing another Fallout. This is a different IP. And yes, it's probably going to have comparisons because they make games a certain way, but it's giving them the creative freedom to do something fundamentally different, and that fills me with a lot of hope for a very unique and fun game coming from Bethesda.
Yeah. And in addition to that, the fact that it's current gen only as well. So it's not Xbox One, PlayStation 4, so it's going to be PC.
I'm not going to mention Cyberpunk again because Chris will go off again. But exactly, that's the right move. It's the right move.
I think it's going to be great. I'm excited for Starfield, and I don't. As not a Bethesda fan, Starfield is the most interesting thing I've ever done for me. Like I say, it comes back to probably the fact I prefer the sci-fi element, but I'm super excited for this. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I mean, I'm trying to temper my expectation, because I just, in my head, it's going to be that game I've always wanted to be. Planet hopping RPG across many planets, and from what they've said, it sounds like it is going to be this. But I don't want to get myself too excited, because I just and
I will say at this point, there will not be anything about Elder Scrolls 6.
If not.
No,
there won't be anything.
They won't want to distract from Starfield.
Way too soon, exactly, and they won't want to take the shine off of Starfield. So if we're going to hear something, it'll be after Starfield is released, and then we might start to. Do
you know why I think they won't do it as well? Because if they start talking about Elder Scrolls 6 in a big way and showing development stuff off, if Starfield doesn't land perfectly, people will start blaming Elder Scrolls 6, and they took people off Starfield to put the Elder Scrolls 6 in, and that's what happened.
Because they don't understand the development way development works.
It's totally different teams. They have nothing to do with each other, and it's like, but that's the problem. It's like, no, it's whatever. But like you say, let's not get into that. But super excited for Starfield. Awesome. I would expect to see something. I would expect to see something for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Just on a very, very slight tangent before we move on to the next developer, just because Ratley mentioned it, Aliens Colonial Marines. Just want to let everybody know, I did put a little tweet up. I have bought the game on Steam for $4.99. Just because I've never played it before.
And it gets worse. It gets worse, Alan. Listen to this. We had a conversation, and get this. Guess what Craig suggested we do?
We should do a live stream where me and Chris play the game together.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. I think we should do. In fact, I think we should ask our listeners to go to the YouTube video and leave a comment requesting that very thing. If you want to see that, you want to see Chris enjoying the delights of Aliens Colonial Marines, go to the YouTube channel, drop us in that comment and let us know, and we'll set it up for you.
Sounds like a good idea. And actually, as a special bonus feature, what we'll also do is we're going to drag Alan along as well, so he'll have to watch us play it.
Sound good? I don't mind. I've played Aliens Colonial Marines all the way through. I've already told you that.
Oh, I'm sure Alan will have a field day watching me suffer. He'll love it.
I quite enjoyed it. It was all right.
Good stuff. Cool. Right, we'll watch this space for that. So next place we're going to is just down the road from us in Cambridge, which is Ninja Theory.
Love these guys.
I love these guys. Obviously, you know, they were quite a prevalent developer in the 360, PS3 era. They did a lot of stuff for PlayStation 3, kind of, I forget what the game was called, Heavenly Swords. They also did Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, which was a fantastic kind of spin on the monkey story, with, forgotten the guy's name, who does Gollum. What's his name?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, that was it. He played. He's done a lot of work with them over various different projects. Actually, they also did the Devil May Cry DMC.
Isn't it Bleeding Edge recently?
They did, yes, they did Bleeding Edge, which didn't land very well. It was a bit of a side project that I think they did.
It was a solid game. It wasn't exciting or interesting.
Didn't do anything.
It was a solid game. It was a solid game. There's nothing mechanically wrong with it. It just wasn't exciting.
Yeah. It was sort of a melee kind of. It was a melee 6v6, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It was an odd thing, but it was nothing particularly wrong with it. It just didn't really land, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's
Whose
right.
phone keeps going off?
Was that me?
I can hear.
That's probably me. I'll put it off of the vibrating thing. I didn't realise it was still vibrating. Sorry, I will master that for you. There you go.
And obviously the most kind of high-profile thing they've done recently is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which was an absolutely incredible experience of a game. They worked really, really closely, hand in hand, with a lot of people from Cambridge University and some of the hospitals in the area, working with people who had this psychosis, and that's what the character had within that game. And it was just one of the most phenomenal experiences to play. I know you guys. Did you play it, Alan? You played it as well?
Oh, I played it. I didn't get I didn't finish it or anything. I got a fair way in, but the puzzle elements put me off, to be honest. There were some puzzle elements, and I was just not in the right frame of mind for the puzzly bits where you had to align the objects and stuff like that. So I didn't finish it, but immediately you can tell from the get-go that as you said, the sound, the environment, listening on the headphones, and everything is just so well crafted. Although I know you guys are kind of going on about how amazing it is. I can't help. There is a part of me that kind of feels that Ninja Theory are a little bit stuck in the experimental milieu rather than producing games. I mean,
another granddad thing.
That's a good word. I don't get to use it very often.
Well, it was a great word, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Since isn't Hellblade 2 supposed to have been released with the Xbox Series X, or am I stating wrong?
No, that was wrong. No, they showed it off as one of the first games to show the power of it. Right. They said, coming soon. They didn't give it any date, and then I think they sort of dated it. It's been
a while now. They've been talking about it for a while. And the only thing I've seen is videos on this Project Mara thing, which looks amazing, but there's no game here. It's talking about, It seems like they're going down the experiment avenue, and maybe they'll have something fantastic to show us in a few years.
There has been some gameplay.
Yeah, and Senua was also announced as they said it was going to be. They couldn't say what it was initially because they said it was an Unreal Engine 4 project, and then when Unreal Engine 5 became a big official thing, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, it's actually on Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And then we're saying like, oh okay, so it's a bit more beasty, and then that's the kind of exciting thing is they're now working on Unreal Engine 5, and if you've played the previous Senua, you know that looked amazing in Unreal Engine 4, I think it was, wasn't it? Or was it? Yeah, it was 4, wasn't it? Yeah. And like the what they've got now, the potential to do, and certainly the video we saw when they first did it with Senua's face, everyone was like, "There's no way that's in game," and it turns out that's absolutely in game. That's absolutely Unreal Engine 5 footage, and this game is gonna look and if it plays half as good as the first one, it's still a fantastic game. And at least the puzzle elements are for you, and that's like everything. No game is for everyone, but that first game was an experience like no other I've had in gaming. It was so unique. And it never gets the praise it deserves in the mainstream. I mean, people say it's a great game, but they keep talking about, and I'm not slagging off The Last of Us, but for me, Senua is every bit that kind of experience, that emotional journey, and the heart of that game is so deep that it doesn't get the praise it deserves, because a lot of the time it's quite difficult to palate because of the fact that it's messing with your head and it's trying to put you into this place, and it's a difficult game to play for a lot of people, and I get that, but they deserve all of the praise for putting that out there, representing it as well as they did, and making a thoroughly enjoyable and interesting and just an incredible game. Like that experience, like it moved me in a way that when there's this great debate of are video games I'll be like, well, play that and tell me it doesn't affect your state of mind, your mood, your balance. Everything about you changes through that game because of the sound, the environments, the pressure. it's a phenomenal piece of engineering, and I cannot wait to see what they do with the second one. I think this is going to be a potential game of the year for me personally. I think it's going to be like one of those games that could be something which puts the cat amongst the pigeons with other developers and sort of changes the way we look at games to a degree. I am so excited for this second Senua game, and I really hope we get a little more information.
And I'm certainly not disagreeing with that, although I would be slightly hesitant. Again, you're building it up to a level which they may
I know
be
that
able to achieve.
Yeah.
But again, there is no release date on Hellblade 2.
No.
There's no release date on Project Mara, and this is my point. There's an awful lot of development going in, and there's not an awful lot of we're at this stage where we're getting ready to release. There's no information coming out.
They did say basically Microsoft gave them as much money as they want, and we're just like, make the game you want to make. We don't want to push you to a time frame. We want you to make the best possible version of whatever game you want to make. So I think they've got this. I think this is where we've got this brilliant ability for Microsoft to, if they want to, and if they really believe in something, to finance it to the point of like, right, it has to come out, and we have to see tangible improvement. But you don't have to be like, we want it in a year, we want it in 2 years. It can be a 4-year project, it can be a 5-year project. We need to see it's going somewhere. And given Ninja Theory's record, we know we're going to get product. And we're going to get good product. They haven't really released a dud as such. And I think Microsoft are smart enough to understand that this studio have got the potential to release something truly generationally important. And they're willing to finance them and not put the pressure on. And they even said before the last showcase, they don't expect to see Hellblade because it's nowhere near ready to show you, and we're going to tell you that straight off the bat because it's just that simple. We know it's not ready to go. We don't want to disappoint people. We don't want to show it before it's ready. And then I think we got like a short video saying, this is some stuff that's going on, but there was no real meat on that. It was just like
have you seen the video on the beach? There's the Hellblade video on the beach with the giant that comes out of the sea. Have you seen that one, Alan? Yeah. So that video just for me that's
facial as she's chanting as well. Lip movement. I was like, that is mental.
It's, I think it's just it looked a lot more action oriented. That kind of with everyone running away and throwing all the spears.
Almost God of War into a degree.
Yeah. This is the interesting thing, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, we don't really know an awful lot about the game. We don't. Is it going to go down the same route as the first one? This is what I'm saying. There's very little information. A few bits of gameplay, out there that we're talking about, but ultimately we don't know how it's going to play. We don't know whether it's going to have the same feeling. Is it going to be the same gameplay mechanics?
Well, I think it
certainly looks nice. It certainly looks nice. Yeah, there's no question about that. Well, nice doesn't really cover it. It looks amazing. but what's the game? Is the game going to be the same as the first one? We don't really know. And do we expect to see it at this presentation? I would be surprised if we didn't see something. Because I
think it'll be small though.
Yeah, but I don't think it won't be like this is coming out at this day. It'll be with maybe another trailer showing some gameplay.
Well, they might do it last time, more development stuff.
I think we might get a date. Not saying it'll be a soon date, but I think we might get a date, or at least
I think it's a couple of years out at least. I think it's a couple of years out. I think it's 2024. I think it's 2024 personally.
Could be. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, it's coming up. We're certainly excited for it. It'd be nice to get a bit more.
I can't wait for that game. That is the one I'm excited for the most.
We've had a couple of comments in that were about 10 minutes ago, and I completely missed them. So I don't know what one was sold from.
They were in relation to they were in relation to maybe us playing Colonial Marines. I don't know.
Yes, they were.
Right.
I mean,
Great stuff, Pete. Sorry about that, mate. I completely missed
that. Pete, I'd like to take this opportunity to say I've never met you, and I already hate you.
You stand by your convictions, Pete. You're a good man.
Right. Next one we've got coming up is Compulsion Games. Now, I didn't quite know where to put this into we know what they're doing, we don't know what they're doing. So, Compulsion Games, they're made up with a bunch of ex-Arcane Studio people.
Oh, the memory. Enemy.
Keep going, Alan. I'm enjoying it. So basically, I mean, they did a game called it was a platform puzzler back in 2013 called Contrast. I've never actually played that game before. I don't know if you guys played it or not.
It rings a bell. I think I might have looked at it, but I don't think I played it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't really my sort of thing. I mean, they also did We Happy Few, which came out. I'm pretty sure that came out in early access on Xbox exclusively. I believe.
It did, and it wasn't that good.
I never played it.
I played it. It was, it was a good premise. It had some nice ideas. It was yet another example of a game that really could have done with longer in the oven, a lot longer before it actually was even in early access released. I do believe they've done a lot of hard work with several DLC updates, but ultimately I didn't feel like there was enough in the game to keep me coming back. After that initial couple of plays, I was kind of like, yeah, it's all right. It's an interesting idea. I like the world. It's a very different atmosphere. But ultimately, the game itself felt very shallow without much to do. I don't know if
just
that's
looked,
changed
it was
now.
67 on Metacritic. So
yeah.
So, that's sort of around that kind of.
Yeah, I was to say I heard quite polarising things about it. You either really dug the idea, or it was like it was slow and boring, and you're not for you sort of thing. So
yeah, you'd like to hope that potentially with a studio like this, Microsoft have seen there's potentially things they're working on, or there's talent within the studio worth investing in. They were a small indie studio, effectively trying to create these games, and you'd like to think there's still going to be some talent and potential there for something magical to come out of it. So the only thing, hence why I didn't know quite where to put this. So the only thing we know about this, so back in 2021, Compulsion Games, there was a something that came out saying they were working on a narrative third-person story game codenamed Midnight. And it would be its first release following the Microsoft acquisition. So if that was 2021, when we'd learned they were working on it, what do you reckon? Do you reckon we'll see something from Compulsion Games?
It's a maybe.
Unlikely.
Depends on how big the project is, I guess. If it's a smaller project, we might see something. If it's a big project and they've got a lot of money and they're spending their time, it might be something we don't see for another year, maybe more. It's hard to say for sure, but I mean,
it's early days, isn't it? Especially.
I think I think it'll be a miss with this one. I don't think we're going to see much.
I'd be surprised. Maybe a reveal trailer. I don't know, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, might name it. I guess. Yeah.
Shown. But I do have a quick question off the line here, Craig. When you first started, you said you'd set the list alphabetically.
It starts off alphabetically.
Because Arcane, a Bethesda Ninja. Compulsion. No, this kind of went a bit.
It started.
Okay.
It started alphabetically with the first two.
Yeah, so. Basically, when I said it started, we're going to do this as I was saying alphabetically, I started to look down the list and went, I haven't done this alphabetically at all. I think it's possibly just a coincidence that it was Arcane and then Bethesda.
Hold on. Having a look at it though, I think actually, to be fair, it's alphabetical. It's all alphabetical, other than Ninja Theory, like the list for some reason.
Yeah, it is alphabetical apart from Ninja Theory. So you're halfway there, mate.
Yeah,
well done.
Nearly.
But yeah, I mean, there's very little information to go on. Might see something. It'd be nice if there's a reveal. If they're working on something that is a big IP that people are waiting for, then there's a good chance we might see a reveal for it. But without knowing what it is, it's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on that one. So, it'd be nice maybe if we could get a new IP land, because it's always nice when you see new IP.
I wonder if they're working on the next Splinter Cell.
Ooh, the next Splinter Cell.
That'd be nice. Love a new Splinter Cell. Anyway, right.
Now they bought Ubisoft,
Yeah. So the next one we'll move on to is Machine Games. So a much bigger studio. So former Starbreeze employees started that one. With doing the games like your Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. They did the Syndicate remake, I think, as well.
That's a good game.
Syndicate.
Oh my word! Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. For its time, the graphics and the gameplay on that were so far ahead of their time. They were awesome.
Yeah, really.
Totally not my game, but I remember looking at it going, I know this is good. It's just not for me. Yeah. It's one of those sort of it's good.
It was quality. And obviously more recently they've done the remake of Wolfenstein, so the New Order, the Old Blood and the New Colossus as well, and they did the Young Blood, which didn't really land all that well.
I mean all of those games, I think some of the gameplay, there's been some hits and some misses, but you can't fault their gameplay creation. Those worlds that they make, as far as graphically and mechanically, are absolutely solid. Those games are games that come out and have like zero bugs, look amazing, and play really well. They miss some story beats.
New Blood might have been the only exception to that. That was a bit buggy at launch. In fact,
Fair
it was
enough.
a bit, it was
Fair
a bit
enough.
But that's an exception. That's one miss out of a massive
Youngblood,
list of
you mean
wins.
Youngblood?
Yeah, Youngblood. Sorry, yeah,
Youngblood. I think that was a bit more of a chucked out multiplayer on the back of like the new Colossus.
Exactly.
So
that,
I don't think it again. That was something that should have taken.
But I think
a bit
but we're
longer.
talking about that like one game out of that list isn't great. That's a fantastic track record, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
The stories are fantastic in those Wolfenstein games.
Yeah.
They're really just such cinematic experiences, and the shooting is absolutely fantastic.
Well, I mean, they're basically Doom, but you get to kill Nazis.
Yeah.
They used it. Didn't they use the IdTech engine in that? They did.
I think they did.
Yeah, which is probably why it's so solid. They went, can we just borrow Doom and just stick a Wolfenstein skin in it? They're like, yeah, all right, why not?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they had such, back in the day, they had such a close kind of synergy.
Yeah,
Doom
well, they were. ID
Wolfenstein.
did both, didn't they? ID did both of them, so they were their
back in the
IPs.
day. With upcoming games, I think we all know what this one is. The upcoming game from Machine Games was a bit of a big announcement, which was the original story Indiana Jones game.
Why does it always have to be snakes?
I mean, that's obviously we know that's in production with Lucasfilm Games. We know we haven't had a release date yet. All we've seen is a snippet of some concept art, which I think I've got here. Yeah, there's a little bit there, but I mean, this is literally concept art. What do we think?
As long as it is more relevant plot wise than Indy was to the first Indiana Jones film itself, then I'm fine with that. You know, because we all know he has no bearing on anything that happens. The same thing happens regardless if Indiana Jones is in that movie or not. So hopefully Indy has a pivotal part to play in this. But no, I mean, it's Indiana Jones. How can we not be excited for an Indiana Jones game?
How can we not?
How can you not? I mean, I'm not excited for a new Indiana Jones film, but I'm super excited for an Indiana Jones game. You know, it's like, you know. After the space between spaces,
fighting, tomb raiding,
but it is one of those genres. I think they've really struggled to make a game that really complements the feeling that we all have about the films.
Yeah,
I think there are Tomb Raider games out there and Uncharted games that have done it much better than any Indiana Jones games have ever done it. Mm-hmm. And this is an opportunity from a really good developer with a good pedigree of making solid games to produce the first really good Indiana Jones game. You know, and I'm all for that. But if they
my only caveat on good Indiana Jones games is back in the day. Point and click Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis on the Amiga and the PC back in the day. That was a great Indiana Jones game. You know, I love that game. So if we can get a game which makes me feel indie-ish like that game did, then I'm all in. You know, I'm super excited for that.
Nice, yeah. Because I mean, I don't think we're not going to see anything, are we?
Maybe some more, like one of those dev footage where they say it's a studio working on bits and some concept art on monitors and maybe some building a model or something, you know. But we won't see anything substantial. There's gonna be no gameplay. Let's be honest. We might get like that teaser dev update, but that's about it. They talk about bringing in someone for the music, or they talk to John Williams about the score or something like that. You know, we get something like that. Where they go, give it real authenticity. We went and spoke to John Williams about how he wrote the score. Right. You know, and you'd be like,
okay, Harrison.
That's
Ford
exactly like it sounded like.
Yeah. Harrison Ford walk out. Yeah,
you're breathtaking.
Yeah, let's face it. If anyone's got the money to do it,
you're breathtaking.
If anyone's got the money to do it, it's the Microsoft to do.
You're breathtaking. Call me an ambulance.
Nice, cool. Right. So next one we got is
your toe breaking. There you go.
In Mojang. Star Wars deep cut. I liked it. Yeah, it took me a second. Nice. Right, next one we got up is Mojang Studios. Now, I'm not going to bother spending much
Minecraft.
I've heard of them before. What do they make?
Yeah. Do you remember, though, back in the day when there was just this unbelievably mind-blowing purchase of $2.5 billion for Minecraft?
I know.
Everyone was like, Microsoft are mad. Why would you spend that much on Minecraft?
When everybody thought 2.5 billion was a lot of money. Those were the days.
It's absolutely balmy. I just distinctly remember that, thinking it was absolutely crazy, and it's just pale in comparison.
I remember thinking though, not that I wasn't surprised Microsoft chucked 2.5 billion at something. I was like, Microsoft got more money than sense, but I do remember thinking, why would you spend it on Minecraft? And proves how much I know about business, right? Minecraft is one of the best acquisitions anyone's ever made, ever. They've made their money back and then some, and not only that, but it is it's so well revered across gaming, education, you name it. Minecraft is just it's a behemoth of the thing, you know?
Yeah. It's one of the biggest games in the world by far.
Ever.
Isn't it? It's just
Ever.
absolutely
Like,
just
ever.
insane. Yeah. Maybe we might see a little side bit. Maybe I don't know about some updates coming for Minecraft. One of them little kind of almost a trailer in between. But.
The last thing I heard about Minecraft, and I wasn't quite as much as I like ARPGs, and I play a lot of them, but I wasn't really my scene. The Minecraft dungeons,
we had so much fun with that.
Me and Chris rocked that game.
We had so much fun with that.
Wasn't really for me. But as far as Minecraft, I mean, obviously I've spent thousands of hours, and I've already told you my stories about digging massive holes and stuff like that, and building massive structures like my dwarven kingdom and shit like that. But the last thing I saw about Minecraft was this new lighting. Was it luminescence or something like they were adding?
Ray
tracing into it. Yeah, and it just looked amazing. But I haven't seen anything else about that since.
That was a technical demo, wasn't it? It was a technical demo.
I thought they were rolling it out. Is it out?
Were they? I thought it was a technical demo. I didn't know they were putting it live into the game. But if
if you go into the game, you can turn it on now.
Right. Oh, there you go.
I don't play Minecraft, but I'm pretty sure you can.
But yeah, so I'm too busy building Will Smith's bunker.
Yeah, sorry folks, we haven't had a Zomboid update, have we? Maybe at the end if we get a bit of time.
There's not much on but anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't expect. Unless they've suddenly been working in the background to produce a whole new big DLC, because Minecraft Dungeons is their big ticket at the moment, and they pushed it hard over the last couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised if they've been working in the background to produce some completely brand new DLC, because they did it last year, I believe. They did bring out.
It's got a seasonal one, hasn't it?
Exactly. So they'll be wanting to showcase that if they're trying to sell on the new DLC for it. So we might see that, but as far as Minecraft, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see anything.
Well, they're two separate teams again, aren't they? It wouldn't surprise me if we get I think Minecraft is due a big update. What was the last big one? I can't remember what the last big one was called now.
I don't follow it.
Yeah, really. But the next, I think it was a couple of 3 years ago they had the last big update. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's something brewing for Minecraft. But we'll see what happens, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe they'll come out with HoloLens on again.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a blast from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway. Move on from Mojang Studios
Alan's having a moment. He's seeing what's next on the list.
To Obsidian. Definitely one of Alan's faves. Best known for its role-playing games, definitely, Obsidian. It was founded by former Black Isle staff in 2013. It's done Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Which is pretty good, It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a fairly decent game. Alpha Protocol, which, that game, I wanted to like that, but I couldn't get on with it. But a lot of people like that. Fallout New Vegas, which arguably a lot of people prefer to Fallout 3, although it was buggy as all balls.
That's quite a popular opinion, to be honest. In fact, it's actually lauded as being the best Fallout game out of all of them.
Yeah,
considering Bethesda didn't make it, that's a bit of a kick in the old testicles, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you've got South Park games. Or the
Stick of Truth. Yes. Love that game. That was such a game that they finally someone got South Park and did South Park correctly, which was the big thing about it.
You just basically played the cartoon, didn't you?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It was
getting the guys who made the game that was a great idea where the studio understood the medium and went, we need to get the guys involved with it. Got them and produced the exact perfect game for it, Yeah,
it was a stunning game. Obviously, there's Pillars of Eternity, which was a crowdfunded thing that they did.
Stunning.
And most recently, we had The Outer Worlds, which landed again. Did that go onto Game Pass?
Yeah, Game Pass.
Yeah, it went to Game Pass, didn't it? Yeah, but that was a multi-platform release, wasn't it? Before the acquisition, or just as the acquisition went through.
It was before the acquisition by about a year, I think. Memory serves.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Grounded as well, which has been their kind of.
I've never played that. And I've really wanted to. I need to give that a go.
It's good.
I think it looks
actually had a really big update on that game recently, where they put in. I think it was it end of last year? They put in some new biomes. So there's like a sandbox, so like a desert biome and stuff. But they've actually put dungeons in it now as well.
Yeah, I
so
saw
you can
that.
actually go off and go looting into dungeon things. It's really is worth a go. We'll have to give it a try at some time.
Yeah, definitely.
A couple of blasts on it. It was good fun. But if you don't like spiders,
I'm fine with spiders.
Oh my word! the squeals that came out of mine.
You think you're okay with spiders.
When the size of a double-decker bus, it's a bit different.
But when you turn around and there's a spider the size of a house bearing down on you,
I'll probably be a bit like, let's go.
I mean, at the age you are going to let out a little wee. I'm not going to lie. It's going to happen.
But you weren't. It wasn't you. Well, I'll never forget because I'm terrified of sharks. That's the thing that gets me. And I'll never get the first time I played Sea of Thieves. I was in the ocean. I turned, oh my god, there's a shark! I was losing it, absolutely losing it at this shark. I was like, yeah. So yeah, I do get where you're coming from because with sharks in Sea of Thieves, I was exactly the same. Like, all like hypersonic and like in fear of my life from the cartoon sharks. So.
But the one thing I want to see from Obsidian, and we all know what I'm going to say, Avowed. Yeah. I want to see some of the Bethesda beta. If anybody can do it. If anybody can do it, it's Obsidian. If they can produce the best Fallout game, then they can produce the best Skyrim game.
I'm loving this.
With their technical history, with all of the stuff they've done with Pillars of Eternity and Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, they can produce they've already made an amazing world to have this game in. And just from literally a 50-second trailer of an arrow flying through down to a dungeon, and I'm sitting there going, oh my god, I want to play this game!
I was getting such Lord of the Rings vibes off that.
Yeah, like,
such
it's ridiculous. Everything about it.
That looks so good.
Where he traces the rune in the air to do his spell, and the sword is lit up, and you can see there's something in the tunnel. It just looks so good, and it's literally 5 seconds and it cuts off. And I desperately need to see more, and they've got to give us more at this year's presentation.
There'll be something, I'm sure. There'll be something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just another mega trailer, there'll be something.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see some kind of gameplay land, definitely. But you've got to remember as well, though, they're also working on Outer Worlds 2 as well.
Yeah.
Were you not a fan of Outer Worlds?
Oh, don't get me wrong. Outer Worlds is a fine game. I played the first one. It didn't keep my interest, if I'm honest. It might not. It's not that it's a bad game. It's just that there are other things that were all coming around and stuff like that. So I love the pictures, by the way. They're Ratley. They're very nice. It's the first time you've turned your camera that far
it moved.
that way.
It moved. Yeah. So yeah. These are that one there. That one there is from my friend Luke Priest, who does the artwork for Gears of War.
That actually looks a little bit like Vaxel Dan from Critical Role Campaign 1. Which isn't the miniatures you're not painting, but still, that's campaign 2. But yes, no, there's nothing wrong with Outer Worlds. They're fantastic games, and I think number 2. I think I think they kind of gave it a little bit of the old to Bethesda with Outer Worlds, showing it's kind of like this is the game that because they give the conversation choices, the world that you inhabit, and everything else. They're the same type of games, but they just go that little bit further. I think the thing with Outer Worlds that got me was that it took me a while to realise that again, the environment I think is smaller than you would find in a Fallout or that type of game, but it's because of the amount of difference you can have in your interactions. Just the first town you go to in Outer Worlds and you talk to like the administrator in the building, that can end in like 4 or 5 different ways depending on how you take it on, and that's the beauty of the world. They've made it so diverse and so interesting.
That's the most exciting kind of world, though, isn't it, where your actions have consequences. I think that's back in the day, that's the reason I fell in love with Mass Effect, when I realised there were meaningful choices, and I was like, what? Yeah, because I used to say when people say I made it used to irk me when people talked about like the old choice at the end of Fable 2, going, I couldn't decide what to choose. I'm like, you don't know difficult decisions. You haven't played Mass Effect. You don't understand how difficult these decisions can be. No, I had to save the dog. I was like, of course you did. That was the easy choice. Like everything else,
but it's not a difficult decision. You know she has to die.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
I know. It's an easy decision now. With the knowledge I have now, it's not even a choice. It's like, yep, dead. Yeah. I go and go, I get to kill her. I get to kill her. Whereas back in the day, I was like, oh God, I've got to choose.
Turn taken.
Yeah. But yeah, so, it's not that I'm not excited for Outer Worlds 2. I'm very interested to see how they're going to push that IP further forward and how they're going to add and expand to that. I think, I would like to see it bigger. But I would like to see.
Wouldn't we all?
That's what she said. But yeah, no. But I would like to see much, a bigger planetary system and bigger areas to explore when you go down. That would be really nice. But really, I'm just waiting to see anything about Avowed. If I'm really honest.
Going back to what we were saying before about games that are being developed purely for current gen, like Starfield.
Yeah.
A lot of this limitation is because it's working. We're talking about if they're still going to do stuff that's going to work on the Xbox One. That's hardware from 2013. It's old hardware now. If they're
that's a bit like me wearing a pair of underpants from 2013. There's no hold there. They're not supporting
wants to see that.
But I was going to say, don't we think this is the point where potentially what we have here though is Microsoft's absolute genius strategy, of using Xbox in the cloud and running that on older Xboxes is the genius play here, right? Yep. They can go, it'll run on Xbox One, but only via the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Xbox Series X hardware in the cloud. That's the win, right? It's the genius.
And they said
strategy.
right from the beginning, didn't they, that it was going to be a couple of years of supporting before you started to see next gen only, or as we are current gen only now. Whereas PlayStation, when they came out, were like, we believe in generations, but we don't because we're going to
we're going to lie about that through our teeth to make ourselves sound smart. And then, oops, no, wait, hold on, we can't make enough of these. Maybe put on everything.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is that we're all very much of that. We all bought a Series X way before we really needed to buy a Series X because we wanted it, not because it was that you needed to have it.
Speed,
power. I would say I love the speed. I love the speed, but for me, do you know what I would have been? The thing that made when I look back at it now, the thing I was happy I bought it on day of release was because the absolute nightmare it was getting anything past day of release. Yeah. I would have hated that. So I'm pleased that I got mine when I did. But yeah, you're right. I didn't really need it, but am I happy I got it? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love mine. It's one of the best pieces of hardware I've ever bought. I can safely say that about the Series X.
And I look forward to playing Avowed on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, back to track. Let's get back on track.
Yeah. So, what do we think? What are we going to see about it? Do you think we're going to see Avowed?
I think we're going to see a gameplay trailer. I'm not sure we're going to see live gameplay.
I think
gameplay
we're going to
trailer.
see some thing from
gameplay trailer. A bit more info about what it is, the world. I reckon we'll get those things where the guy comes out, gives us the brief of the world, explains what the situation is. We get a gameplay like on stage or a gameplay trailer, and that's it. Yeah, that'll be all we get. We don't get like big info. But it'll be something I'd be happy with that. To be fair,
I'm seriously down with that.
Very fair expectation in the studio as well, and I think that's I just want to see. I want to see some more information because even not being a fantasy guy, I watched that Avowed trailer and went, I like that. I want to see what that is. I like that. It was the light and the sword, and I was like, that's wicked.
I've never played the Pillars of Eternity games. Before we move on to the next one, I've never played the Pillars of Eternity games. Or I think I put one once and tried it, but it was before I'd really kind of got into that turn-based strategy type gameplay. Now, do they work on the Dungeons and Dragons type rule set, much like we've been playing Solasta, haven't we? That 5e or whatever.
So,
is it like that?
Yes, but it's not the same rule set. But it's still there's that element of RNG when it comes to combat and randomness and character classes and different stats and stuff like that. But it's its own system. It isn't using 5e D&D 5e, but it's a similar system.
But we think that this one, Avowed, we think there's going to be effectively the same sort of stuff, but coming more into being like Skyrim, being more of an action.
Yeah, absolutely. That, and I think that I've read from actually somebody in Obsidian. That's what they wanted to do for a long time. They've wanted to make their version of Skyrim, and that's their intention to do so, and then take it and make it so much better. So
sweet. Yeah. Cool. Right. So the next one, moving on to, you so kindly mentioned something about choice in Fable a minute ago, Chris. You talked about Playground Games. So a studio based in Leamington Spa in the UK.
Big holiday resort there, Leamington Spa.
It was once. Many moons ago, maybe.
So obviously they're best known for the ever increasingly better Forza Horizon games that every single game has been fantastic, but every single time they release one, it's been better than the last one. So they've got one hell of a track record of racing games. But obviously now...
Track record! I see what you did there!
And while we're on that subject, I just want to read what Craig has written here for his little note thing that he gave us. It says, based in Leamington Spa in 2007, it was acquired by Microsoft in 2018, which leads me to believe that Microsoft bought Leamington Spa in 2010. And that makes me want to go to Leamington Spa. They must have a Microsoft land there somewhere. I'm going to find it.
It's called Microsoft Spa now.
I'll report back to you once I know more.
Microsoft Spa. Brilliant.
Apologise, my poor English there. Anyway, so we assume they're working on another Horizon game. That's pretty much a given. But we know they've got this other team. We know we've had this sort of little CGI trailer of the new Fable game, which I am so excited for because I loved the Fable games, and I'm just to have something brought up to sort of the current day standard, because they're really starting to show their age now, the older Fable games.
Just a bit.
Yeah. I was in the technical test for Fable Legends, which was their kind of 4v1, which I played, and actually I played it a few times. Phil came around and played it with me a few times. Actually, when we got into it, it was becoming really good fun. The characters were really interesting, and I really started to enjoy it. And then it got canned, and for ages I still kept that beta on my Xbox because I just turn it on, listen to the music sometimes, because it's just got such a beautiful world, and it's got that great kind of English humour and everything to it. The way that it's
very
created.
Monty Python, the humour.
Needs more John Cleese in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Doesn't everything though?
Yeah, everything's better with John Cleese in it. I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online with John Cleese in it recently, and just listened to him. He's playing.
One of the sad, I once had quick tangent story. I once, I used to work for Microsoft when I was in the phone department. I once got a phone call from boss said, "Chris, are you free on this date to do something for Microsoft?" I was like, "Yeah, well, what do you need?" Like sort of thing. And we want you to do a VIP phone setup. I was like, "Okay, well, who's it for?" He's like, "Now, I don't know if you'll know this person, but just tell me if you do." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You ever heard of John Cleese?" And I'm like, "Have I ever heard of John Cleese? Are you taking the mickey?" I was like, "Yes, I've heard of John Cleese." And he was like, "Well, we're going to do a phone setup for him.
It's John
I'd like
Cleese's
you to do
neighbour.
it." He's like,
It's John Cleese's gardener.
Yeah. But they were like, we're gonna do a phone setup for him. We want you to do it. I'm like, you can do what? Then we want you to go down to London, meet John Cleese, and set a phone up for him. I'm like, and I kind of had a moment, like a proper moment. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Got there on the day, got on the tube, get there. We're 5 minutes from the hotel, like walking there. Guy's phone goes, John's cancelled, he's too tired, he's going home. Oh, mate, the biggest disappointment of my life that day. Yeah. I was going to get to meet John Cleese, absolute legend, and like that happened. I was like,
that's almost as bad as my Stan Lee story, where I went to the comic convention and we were literally 10 minutes from the queue from seeing him, and then the guy came out. We'd been queuing for like an hour and a half, and the guy came out and went, "Sorry, Stan's not feeling very well, we're cancelling for the day." And then he died the next year. And I was like, you
inconsiderate.
So
how inconsiderate. I mean, it was just that thing that I was literally going to get to spend one-on-one time with John Cleese and set a phone up for him. I couldn't wait, mate. But it was like, no. But yeah, it is what it is, and that's life, right? That is life.
Yeah. So Fable. What do we see at this? I'm just going to call it E3. E3 this year. Do we see Fable?
Yeah. We see something. We see it, whether it's a new animated trailer, more information on what's gone on with Fable. We'll see something. This is a big title for Microsoft. They're going to start pushing it a little bit. I don't think we're going to see like in-depth gameplay. It could be another dev diary. It could be another. This is what we're working on.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it will happen that way, but it could be. But I think we're going to get some more solid information on Fable. I'm 100% that Microsoft will want to talk up Fable. They know it's a big IP for them. The trailer was well received, but everyone was equally gutted. It wasn't more than just a trailer. You know, I think we're going to see, like, we're going to learn about we know Stephen Fry's on board for voicing. I think we'll hear some more stuff from him. You know, we'll maybe see some stuff about that. You know, I think this is going to be one of the big moments in the show as well. I think this will be either an ender or an opener, something like that. I've got a funny feeling it'll be a big moment for them. They'll push it hard if they've got something substantial.
What do you think, Alan?
I hope so. I mean, as I say, I have very fond memories of the early Fables, but they got, it's a thing of diminishing returns, and they've had some real misses over the years, and there's been some real disappointments on the IP as well. And it's got to the point now where I'm just like, yeah, Fable, yeah, we'll see. When it happens, it happens. It might be good, and I've kind of lost a little bit of the excitement about the whole thing. But I do.
The Peter Molyneux effect.
Yeah, it is, I mean, what do you mean the trees don't actually grow while I'm playing? Peter, you lied! but yeah, it's...
Project Milo.
It is. It's well, let's not even go there, Jesus. But the point is that I would love to see something, and you're quite right. It is a big IP for Microsoft, and I think that if they've got something in the brewing pot, then they need to show something because they need to start generating that interest again. Because I think there's a lot of people like me who have got fond memories of Fable, but have got to the point where they're just like they're just not delivering anything that I'm excited about. The trailer fills me with, but I've just been. I've been let down too many times by the Fable Fairy. I don't want to get excited about it until I see something really tangible, And so they need to show something to remind us that there is something coming out that could be a little special. So I would be very, very hopeful that they do.
I think I would prefer to not see another CG trailer. I'd prefer to.
100%.
Yeah. I'd rather them not show anything than show another CG trailer.
Totally agree.
Because it's just been. There was something come out about it so early on. I'd rather them it goes quiet now until they've got something decent.
Yeah. If they haven't got anything, I agree. If they haven't got anything which is substantial, or at least something interesting to tell us about it, like whether it be a really, really in-depth dev diary or something that which is going to give us some substantial info. I don't just want like you say, an extra CG trailer. We might get that as well, but if it's just that, then. Why bother? At that point, it feels like...
So, just imagine the screen goes dark, Stephen Fry walks out into the middle of the stage, turns around, and he says, "We've got growing trees working, guys. We've got them working." And then the screen comes up, and there's a tree growing, and a dog comes running around the corner, pees on the tree, and runs away.
Just got a little comment in here from our friend Kimmy, friend of the show. So hyped for Fable. She says, "I love that you start talking about Fable when I show up." Yeah.
Well, we did it just for Kimmy.
We timed it perfectly. We were waiting for you to show up. Then we were like, "Oh, Kimmy's in Fable." That's it.
Yeah.
But good to see you, Kimmy. Thanks for coming on board.
Good stuff. Cool. Right. So moving on to the next one then. So next we've got up is Rare. So obviously. This is what a studio. I mean, this is founded in 1985. This studio, UK based.
Read off the list of games. It's mental.
I might skip through a few of them, but works on a huge number of games and genres over the years. Microsoft bought them back in 2002, but there is things on there: Jetpack.
I love Jetpack.
Yeah, RC Pro-Am, Rattlesnake,
Saberwolf. How did you miss Saberwolf?
Sorry,
Saberwolf was an all-time classic.
All right, okay,
here we go. Jetpack, Lunar Jetpack, RC Pro-Am, Saberwolf, Snake Rattle and Roll, Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads, including 2020 Reboot, Blast Corps, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Jet Force Gemini, Cameo, Elements of Power, Killer Instinct, Perfect Dark, Viva Pinata, Banjo-Kazooie, prominent Nintendo exclusives. Meanwhile, include Donkey Kong Country, Diddy Kong Racing, Star Fox Adventures, and GoldenEye 007. Blah.
But I'd just like to say, Viva Pinata forever. I love that game.
It's ridiculously addictive game, isn't it? It's so aimed at kids, and that's complete rubbish. If you haven't played Viva Pinata, you really need to. It's so fun. Yeah,
it is a game where you start playing it, and then about 4 hours later, you'll be like, how long have I been playing this for?
And how the hell...
another 5 minutes.
How do I get these worms to breed? God damn it.
Yeah, and you'll be there, and like 24 hours later, you'll be like, how long has it been? How have I missed 24 hours of my life? What's going on here? But I've got to get this tuna corn. Wait up. It's so amazing.
It's constant disappointment to me that they never came out with a third one because I always wanted a bigger garden. The gardens were never big enough.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the processing power to make a bigger garden. So stuff you see of Thieves, Rare, I want to see Viva Pinata 3 with a massive garden that I can do anything I want in it.
Pinata Zoo edition. That's what you want. You want a Pinata Zoo.
Now you're talking.
That's what you want. That's what I want anyway. God, all the pinatas. Oh, I love that game. More Viva Pinata.
I think Chris is getting through the rum now.
He's definitely.
No comment. So, I might have mispoured this one. That's all I'm going to say. There might be substantially more than I thought.
Yeah. Obviously, they are working loads on Sea of Thieves at the moment and constantly releasing like new not tall tales, they're new adventures like every few weeks. There's loads of content going on. Actually, the other night we some friends of mine managed to get 2 ships into the same server, so there were 6 of us sailing together. We had a little fleet going and it was absolutely wicked. We were going doing adventures together, just having fun, like hiding on each other's boats and messing about,
just like when we were kids in the woods.
Exactly, it was great.
When we were kids.
With a stick and a ball, it was great.
Because we didn't have games.
You were posh, didn't you? You had a ball. We just had the stick.
Yeah.
You guys were allowed outside.
Yeah, you were kept under the stairs. But yeah, we were playing this. So there's 6 of us on 2 ships. Like we got so much gold. We must have had 100 grand's worth of treasure, I reckon. And we went barreling towards this outpost to go and cash it all in. You know, we're Billy Big Spuds. It's all us 2 ships together. We think, right, we're just going to go and sell this, and that'll be it for the night. We come flying in, and we end up crashing and getting caught up on the old pier and everything. And all of a sudden, I died, and then one of the other people died. We were like, what's going on? Why am I dying? What's happening? We didn't realise there was an enemy crew on this island. There was one crew with 3 of them, and there was 6 of us, and they absolutely destroyed us over and over again. It was horrendous. There was Paddy, who listens to the show here, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Oh my God!" We managed to sell some of the treasure. They were sinking our ships. We were spawning all over the place. It just goes to show that even if you've got the numbers in that game, it can mean absolutely nothing. We got absolutely ruined in that.
I've been watching Beardageddon, who plays Sea of Thieves, and his I think his subscriber thing is, it goes, 2 balls in a dream, baby, 2 balls in a dream. And someone asked him, I didn't understand what it was, someone asked him, what's that all about? He's like, I once sank a galleon with two cannonballs, and that was it. I'm like, how the hell do you sink a galleon with 2 cannonballs and that's it? You know, I mean, seriously, that game is amazing. Love Sea of Thieves.
It's quality.
But we're unlikely to see anything about that, but we might see something
There'll be
about
something.
the game they're
There'll be
working
something.
on, Everwild.
Exactly.
I think we saw something in last year's E3, which was I don't think it was a gameplay trailer. It was
a reveal,
animated
wasn't it? It was just a
reveal
reveal, like an animated reveal
Yeah,
trailer.
we don't really know what this game's all about,
No,
do we?
there's not a lot of information out there about it, and quite frankly, we don't really have an awful lot to go on. It looks typically rare in the visuals. They have very unique style of art.
Unique and beautiful, absolutely.
Yeah, very, very unique and beautiful. But as far as gameplay and what you can do, it seems almost a little bit anime in the angle they're going towards.
A little bit cel-shaded-y almost.
Yeah, a bit
isn't it?
more than usual. But again, as far as gameplay and what you're actually doing in the game, literally nothing to go on. And this was it last year or the year before they just trailer dropped? Yeah,
So I
yeah.
just got Bishop playing Constantine on a ghost ship after you lose all your loot is cathartic.
There speaks a man who spent an awful lot of time on the ghost ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Faster
we might see something about that from Rare, because obviously that's going to be their new IP. They're pushing a lot of time and effort. I think they've turned around the Sea of Thieves galleon, but you know, and just, you know, because I think it had a very poor launch, like a lot of games do, due to lack of content, and there clearly isn't the case now. It's just full of big tryhards who ruin everybody else's experience, apparently. So, you know, it really makes me want to jump in and play it. But Everwild,
there you go. Bit of the art. I mean, it's beautiful art style, isn't it? It looks stunning.
But it does
just
look more.
Want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we might see something. So
yeah, I think it's reported to be a 2024 job, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a way off.
So it might be a bit soon for that. Yeah, so we might be looking at next
Might
year,
get some more info on it, maybe some sort of drop on what it is and what we expect to see from it. I mean, who knows?
Hopefully.
I'm just trying to think on Sea of Thieves. I think we were seeing stuff a good couple of years before it actually came out, as far as images, if not gameplay. They were fairly early on giving us, showing us what the game would kind of look like, and we have seen a few images, but not.
The thing with Sea of Thieves is more of it's a sandbox concept, is what they were showing, and then they fleshed this live service out from this core mechanic that they had early on.
Yeah.
So I don't, because we don't know what Everwild is. If it's more of an adventure or story game, it'd be very different in terms of its.
I get the impression it's a story-driven experience from the way that trailer played out, but you just don't know. Until we get that confirmation, we could spitball forever, and it could be completely the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
hey, I once thought Aliens Cloning Marines was a good game, so like based on trailers. So let's go.
You never thought that. You thought what before you bought it? Yeah.
Yeah, before I bought it, I thought it was going to be great, mate. I was like, look at this trailer, it's amazing. Turns out that was absolute crap. You know.
I think people will pay good money to see Chris moan his way through an entire playthrough of Colonial Marines.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're going to do it. Right, moving to the next one. The Initiative. Microsoft's quadruple A studio, started up by the Crystal Dynamics head, I think, Daryl Gallagher, back in 2018. They came out, I think it was last year, or was it the year before, saying that they are doing the Perfect Dark
last
reboot.
year, I think it was. Pretty sure it was last year.
Yeah. So, Perfect Dark reboot. Really excited for that, to see something new. So I like the IP, potential of something new coming out. But there's been a lot of funny
leaving.
stuff's going on. People leaving. They brought, isn't it Crystal Dynamics? They've now brought over to kind of work.
Crystal Dynamics
in
are
tandem
working
with
on it. Yeah.
So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And my takeaway from
I might
it
have been
really,
off that one.
yeah, you were. And my takeaway from this very much is the fact that this is very much a project in development, and I think the people. I mean, they were looking for a story. And they're looking for reasons why there's a story, and there's a few little tidbits here about people moving on. But this is not uncommon in the game development industry, with high-profile people moving in the middle of projects. It's not like a project starts and people stay until the end, everybody stays. It just doesn't happen. It's like any other industry. People are given a better offer or stuff like this. But there is also this very much viewpoint that Crystal Dynamics is taking the lead on this more than the initiative, and they have a lot of their own people already in place, which is another reason why some of these high execs and developers in the initiative have actually left the project. Of course, we don't really know. A lot of it's supposition. There's been nobody's spoken about it from either the initiative or Crystal Dynamics really in any sort of depth.
NDAs are a wonderful thing, aren't they?
Exactly. So it's one of those articles that's kind of it's producing a puff piece out of just tiny bits of information that aren't really validated. Does it mean the project is in jeopardy? I don't know. Did Dying Light 2 turn out crap? It wasn't as amazing as everybody says it was, but it certainly wasn't in the trouble that the news made out that it was in, and we talked about those articles. So sometimes you can read too much into this stuff. Will we see something? I still think it's too early to say myself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a next year jobby for this personally. I think there's a lot going on with this. I think, like you said, Alan, I think when we talked about it, we said, all we know from this is that people have changed studios. We don't know if it was because of professional disagreements, they just weren't gelling, it wasn't really what they wanted to do. There's so many ifs, buts and what's involved in that. I still think it's on track to be something interesting. Like you said, the IP's good, the people involved are all good. I think we're on for a good product when we get it. I just don't think that's going to be this year. I think that's going to be a couple of years out. I mean, whether we get anything, again, a dev diary or something, I don't know, but
I think we're all in agreement we aren't going to see anything from this year.
I would be amazed if we see something from this, to be perfectly honest with you. Last year was the teaser to say they've finally confirmed what the initiative were actually doing, and then we can usually wait at least 2 years before we actually see anything substantial on that project. So,
I'm interested because I never played the original project, Perfect Dark.
First one was amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
I can't remember, but I think I was probably in my late teens and early 20s.
That was N64, wasn't it? N64.
What year was that? 1980s?
No, 97,
I was
98,
definitely going out mostly and getting drunk and trying to get laid, but not getting laid around about that point. But I certainly wasn't playing computer games, so I missed Perfect Dark. So I'm interested to see this game.
Yeah, I love the first one. They've never quite managed to sort of get back to that level.
Perfect Dark Zero
was awful, yeah. But that was, I mean, that's not fair. It wasn't awful. It had so much to live up to that just being okay was never going to cut it for that game.
Although playing multiplayer in that game with a gun that shot through walls was great fun. I had many fun times shooting.
There's a lot of YouTube streamers that do that.
Yeah,
but
this one was built in the game, so that was a little purchasable executable.
Hacks enabled.
Right. So next one, move on to Turn 10 Studios. So we all know Turn 10 Studios. That was Microsoft started studio back in 2001 to combat against Gran Turismo, which was the all-powerful racing game on the PlayStation back then. Arguably, straight away, pretty much, Gran Turismo took a back seat to Forza. Forza just.
Do you know what I'm most looking forward to this with, Craig? I'm most looking to the next gen version with 4K, 60 frames per second, and ray tracing. I think that's really going to take that stuttering out of the gameplay and really improve my corn turns, my corner turning, and
your
my
corn
ability.
Turns.
My corn turning.
Is that when you have corns on your feet and you can't hit the brake properly?
But no, I think those extra 30 frames a second are going to make such a difference to my driving prowess.
Obviously, without those 30 frames, I suck. I suck completely. You put those 30 frames on, I
can barely play it. It's almost like playing. You remember those old shutter screen.
Alan, I've heard, mate. You're very fussy about frame rates. I am very fussy about frame rates. And you were the guy, absolutely was like, no, I can't play that at 30 frames per second.
That and DVDs. I can't watch DVDs. They're terrible.
Yeah,
it's
I've heard this.
I'm going to tell you a little story now. Okay, so it's a little game called Elden Ring. Okay, so me and Alan decided we'd jump on a game together and play some co-op. And we're playing, and I said, "Oh, have you got it in performance mode or quality mode?" "Oh, I don't know. It's run absolutely fine. It's perfect." I was like, "Well, have a little look." He goes, "Oh, yeah, it's on quality mode. It's fine." So try it on performance mode. Yeah, I'll try it on performance mode. It was on performance mode. That was it. And he said, "Oh, I'll try it on quality mode." He went, "Oh, yeah, it doesn't look too different. I think I'll just stay on performance mode and move back." And we all know why, because he could tell the difference in the frame rate. He just didn't want to admit it.
I have no idea what we're talking about. This is slander. You will be hearing
Lies,
from my lawyers.
Lies!
That was just this little win I got inside, this warm light. So get it.
I will say this, and there are some games where 60 versus 30, it doesn't make a massive difference. I would always prefer 60, but there are games I can live with at 30. There are some games where I absolutely could never play it at 30 after playing it at 60, and I go back and go, how did I ever play this at 30 frames per second? It's just like, it doesn't compute anymore.
In all honesty, when you look at Forza Motorsport, I can't talk now. Forza Motorsport, they are definitely one of those games when you're looking to the next generation.
That's going to be so pretty.
They are going exactly. That is going to be the game you're looking to be the benchmark. They are just
games are always like they're always
exactly. But I think a lot of it helps that they already have a lot of those specs to build the cars out of already in place, so they're really just working on the engine to make it as beautiful as they possibly can. And this is definitely.
Yes. So you could release Motorsport 7 now.
Yeah.
And you'd still be like, wow, that looks incredible. But it's just something with racing games, just the way they work.
It's just a shame for me personally. I'm more of a Forza Horizon player because I enjoy the variety of the racing. Yeah. I do get a little bit bored of the track racing after a while. I play it and I think, it's going to be great. And I've tried starting a season and then I've got like 3 or 4 races and I've just gone, it's all right. You know what I mean? I just get a bit tired of it.
I agree 100% in that I completely appreciate Forza Motorsport. Yeah. I just don't enjoy Forza Motorsport. It's not for me. It's far too simmy. It's far too hardcore. It's one of those games though where I kind of almost feel like I have to have it just to go, have you seen how absolutely stunningly amazing and pretty this game is?
That picture you put up looks real, for Christ's sake. It looks real.
It's so good.
I mean, you wouldn't think that's it's in-engine footage. I cannot wait to see what they come up with because like you said, they blew. I mean, I remember everyone used to talk about Gran Turismo, and like the new Gran Turismo's come out and it hasn't been brilliantly received, but like. Even though I looked at it and went, that looks great, and some of the ray tracing stuff's really cool and things, but it doesn't feel like a substantial jump forward from Motorsport 7 to me. I looked at Motorsport 7 and went, if Motorsport 7 had the ray tracing, which it doesn't, right? The engine doesn't support it, it's not there. And yes, when the ray tracing is on the replays in Gran Turismo, it looks stunning. But in actual gameplay, where you're playing without the ray tracing, I was like, this doesn't look any better than Motorsport 7 to my eye. And maybe I'm being biased, I don't know. And I haven't really drilled down there. But like, I still think Motorsport 7 is one of the prettiest games on the console.
I just can't understand, and I know this is a bit off topic, but I cannot understand why they made the decision to make Gran Turismo, a racing game, permanently online, so that if you weren't online, you couldn't play it. It just doesn't make any sense to me as a business decision. So when they take the service offline, you can't play the game that you paid for. And then they took the service offline for 3 days because the game didn't work properly. So you've paid for a game you cannot play. That's just mentally bad customer service, but that's another topic.
Yeah, I think what they're doing with that is it's more of a case of they're very much gearing that towards microtransaction, weren't they, to purchase packs to earn money, because you have to earn bucket loads of money to get cars, don't you, in that game? So they don't want people cheesing it offline and getting all the cars in some particular way. They can guide it and change it and move it. That's what it is. It's control over
and
it.
That just shows, doesn't it? Microtransactions makes every game better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So do we see it? Do we see Forza Motorsport 8 or more Forza Motorsport 8?
I think there's going to be something. I don't know what, but there'll be something. Because, they'll bring out a car or something like that on stage and they'll be like,
they normally do.
It might even just be them bragging about the new audio technology they've developed for Motorsport 8 or whatever it is. Who knows? Because they always do something crazy. Like they went, to do the audio, we did this, that, and the other. We shoved microphones up cars' exhausts and got them to do this and then did this and stuck it on reverb and then did this. And you're like, if you say so, my good man, if that's what gets you off, far from me being the guy that judges you for this.
Oh, I love shoving things up exhaust, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, well, but this is what I mean. It's like, there'll be something crazy from the guys at Turn 10, and it will
put the stress ball down, Craig. Put it down.
He's stressing me out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those staples that is quite a regular show at the Microsoft. Is the thing turns around and there's the cover car showing in there, and then they have a little bit about turn 10.
What was the one they lowered down from the ceiling? Do you remember that one? They lowered one down. Which one was that? It was a 360 show, or was it Xbox One? They lowered one down. I can't remember what it was, but do you remember?
No, I remember they lowered one down.
Yeah,
was that the Ford GT, the blue?
It might well have been. Yeah, I think it might have been.
Forza Motorsport 6.
Possibly, yeah. It was
so they do like to shuffle this out through through the Microsoft.
But this is a virtually,
so
it's a virtually 3. So will we see a car? I
would be surprised if they didn't, but just as a it's coming kind of thing.
I think we'll see gameplay. I think we'll see a release date.
Yeah.
I think at this time it's been long enough.
We had the teaser. I think there's going to be something substantial. To be fair,
and it's been a long time since Forza 7 came out. So
that is actually true. That's ages next thing when you think about it. Yeah, that's
long time ago. So next one we're going to move on to is Undead Labs. Undead Labs, obviously best known for State of Decay and State of Decay 2. That's their 2 games they've made, and we know they're doing State of Decay 3. So again, we saw that. I think that was 2020. I guess 2020.
Yeah, it was the first one, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like they opened the first lockdown show, if memory serves.
So it was a CGI trailer, and that's all we've had so far. It was a CGI trailer of basically looks like a zombie deer being hunted.
It looked well good though, didn't it? It looked well.
Oh, it certainly did. But there was precious little about gameplay, and there has been some rumours and a little bit of like industry conversation going on about things not going too well at Undead Labs, and with a lot of toxic environment, that kind of conversation going on, which is causing a lot of issues and a lot of delays. However, I personally have played, I don't know whether you guys have, but I played both games a lot.
Not a lot, but I played them both.
State of Decay I played through about 4 or 5 times. State of Decay 2 I played 3 or 4 times. Absolutely love those games. They are fantastically good, fun games. Until I found Project Zomboid, which is, obviously a lot better.
That, but on steroids.
Yeah, basically. it's like State of Decay, that's easy. There, play this. But no, I'm still super excited for State of Decay 3, but because of the recent rumours that have been circulating and some of the problems, I would be surprised if we saw anything, but who knows?
I think it's too early.
I think it's too early. I think we got a nice announcement. We know it's in development. It's a way offish yet, though. I think.
And I think they need to push the boundaries of the game. I think if they just pull number 3 out of the hat, number 2 was different from number 1, but not enough that you couldn't put them together and say, they're both the same sort of game. So
See, for as much as I liked those games, one of the things I find frustrating when you have these kind of, they're almost sort of resource management type simulators, aren't they? Is the fact that they're sort of geared, and I know this is the point, you can never get your base to a point where you feel like it's quite self-sufficient, or like you can feel like you can leave it for 5 minutes and it's not going to get absolutely ransacked, and it just gives me this like feeling of real
anxiety,
stress and anxiety. Yeah, I just don't enjoy it.
There's a tipping point for a State of Decay
where it's
fun.
Too much pressure.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I'm the same with State of Decay, where I think I was playing it, I had really good fun with it, and my base got to a certain level, I was kind of like, I'm good, I'm not like super comfortable, and then this massive zombie attack rolled in and just nuked my base. I was like, you know what? Up this game, I'm done with it. One of my best guys died, got torn apart by a juggernaut. I was like, you know what? Up yours, game. No, it's like,
but for me, that's what makes that game so much fun. When I through the first one, when I played all the way through, and I was just sort of tidying stuff up, I hadn't even done the end game, and then my main character, I think it was called Marcus, and I was just walking down the street, and one of the big guys came out of nowhere and ripped him in half. There was a serious amount of loss from my end. I was devastated at the loss of this guy that I'd kept alive all the way through this like 40-50 hour playthrough, and then he died right at the end, and I was like absolutely gutted, and that is full credit to the game and everything else. But I do think sometimes it can be a little bit stressful trying to base manage, and the fact sort of the stuff carries on when you're not playing it. It actually records the time and stuff. That's like, I've got to go back on or everybody will die.
It's a commitment to play those games, 100%.
Yeah, I mean they're absolutely just perfect games for you, aren't they, Alan? Because they're just like, you move away from Project Zomboid, they're like, I'm just gonna have a relax, just kick back and play some State of Decay.
Normal people stressing, veins put out their head. Alan's just like, Yes, bring me another wine.
Yeah, and then my wife says, "No, get it your bloody self."
Yeah.
But yes, State of Decay is more like a rest for me after playing Zomboid, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good fun. They're good.
So
fun games.
right, the next one we've got, and the final one in what we know that's happening, is Xbox Game Studios. So bit of a funny one. It's not technically a developer. It's sort of a publishing arm that kind of. Thank you for that, Alan. Nice intro too. So they're going to be bringing some DLC for Flight Simulator, which is Top Gun. You can be my wingman anytime.
Thanks, baby. I mean, when it comes to game and TV tie-ins, and I know that we've talked about this before, but that moment in the GTA heist, when you landed on the aircraft carrier and you jumped in the plane and the Top Gun music started up and we're all sat there going, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And to actually have that on Microsoft, unfortunately, I don't think there are going to be guns or weapons on it.
No, it's literally just flying.
And I put on Microsoft Flight Simulator and immediately tried to find where I lived in Peterborough, and after crashing about 15 times, I still couldn't find it and gave up. It's a ridiculously hard thing to play. Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Well, it's a simulator. It's truly a simulator, isn't it?
Yeah. I should never be allowed to fly a real plane. No, I should never be allowed.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm watching you drive, mate. So obviously, aside from that bit of DLC that they're trying to bring forward, is also a little game that we don't really know much about called Contraband, which is some kind of co-op smuggling type adventure game from Avalanche Studios. Now this again,
so I kind of look at this and I kind of get a heist vibe from it. The way that they talk about it in this again animated trailer is it talks about open world, but then you see this map laid out and it's kind of got like all these like escape route and do this here and do that there, and then you've got this like 3 or 4 people dotted around the area, all sitting in a chair or underneath a jeep working on it, and I can't help feeling you're going to have like 3 or 4 different character classes, one that does they specialize in certain things, and then you'll set up a job, a heist, and then you'll have to do that and then play it out as a team, a bit like Payday, but maybe a bit more sophisticated, less guns and killing everybody that turns up.
PG Payday. It's PG Payday.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, again, I get a lovely vibe off that trailer, but not a lot of information to go on.
Yeah. I think it's because there's a couple of different Avalanche Studios out there, and I think these are the Avalanche guys that did Mad Max and that. Am I right?
I'm not sure, but if you're right, then that's a good pedigree.
Yeah, I'm not 100% because I know there's 2 Avalanche. One of the Avalanche Studios did like Disney Infinity and stuff like that, I think. So I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but
that's a pretty good pedigree, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Mad Max. That game was absolutely. I mean, that had no business being that good. Like movie tie-in games, generally you think, oh god, here we go, another movie tie-in game. Did you guys play Mad Max?
I didn't play it, but I did watch Jules play a fair amount.
It was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. The driving mechanics were fantastic. The upgrade paths. It had a.
What was the name of the guy? The guy that was always on the back of your car.
I can't remember. It was like
classic
a mutant
character.
guy.
He was funny.
Dog Meat or something.
Dog Meat. That sounds familiar.
Dog Meat was
that one.
Yeah,
and just so you confirm, I just checked on Avalanche's website. Contraband is being developed by the same people who made. To give you an idea, some of the studios, some of the games the studio have made: Just Cause 2, Renegade Ops, Just Cause 3, Mad Max, Just Cause 4, and Rage 2.
So they're experts in making those open world action games. So
yeah, so potentially could be something really exciting. I mean, we've got no kind of idea.
There's
about
not enough
dates.
Info, really. There's just not enough info.
So
but yeah, I think it looks
again, it'd
fun.
be nice to see something, wouldn't it? Be nice.
The trailer looked fun. Let's be honest. The trailer looked fun.
Yeah, it does.
Right, now onto the unknown. This is a lot. This is a long list, man. Onto the unknown projects now. So some of these we can kind of go through relatively quickly.
I just got that name, Craig. It's Chum Bucket.
Chum Bucket, that's it. Yeah, Chum Bucket.
That makes perfect sense now.
Oh, mate, I tell you
and
what.
One of the characters in that is they got some good names. One of the other characters is called Scabrous Scrotus. That's a quality name, isn't it?
Let's change your name under the bottom there, Alan.
Thanks,
we were
mate.
Ace McQueen
Cool.
for a bit. You
I'm
can
now going to be
I'll be Chum Bucket.
Scabrous Scrotus. Or we've got
Fine, we'll
Stank Gum.
There you go. That's yours, Chris.
I'll be Stank Gum. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
No worries. Right, so next one we've got is Alpha Dog Games. Now, this one acquired by ZeniMax Media in 2019. It's a Nova Scotian developer, and they do mobile and tablet games, most of which I've never heard of. Wraithborn, Monstro City Rampage, like a remake of the Atari Classic, with smashing the cities up. A game called Ninja Golf, and they also did a Mighty Doom, which was a top-down shooter in the Doom universe. But we've got no idea what's going on. I've never heard of that, and I went and looked online and saw a little trailer. It's like a quirky little fun. Yeah, I think it might be Android only because I couldn't find it on my phone. So maybe.
What was it called? Let me just check now.
It was called Mighty Doom.
Mighty Doom, right? I'll check it
I
out.
don't play mobile games, so
yeah, we don't know anything about this. There is no indication, and the chances are they're probably working on something mobile, which, to be honest, not many of us really care about, so I'm going to skip that one. The next one is Double Fine Studios, which is certainly a bit more pedigree when we're talking studio-wise. Founded by Tim Schafer after he left LucasArts, best known for Psychonauts, Brutal Legend, Costume Quest, Stacking, Iron Brigade. The Connect title, Double Fine's Happy Action Theatre, was possibly the best Connect title out there. I think I've got fond memories of it because I remember my kids playing it. You used to have this like Floor is Lava game where you look on the TV and they'd be jumping from the buffet to the sofa and things because like trying not to fall in the lava, and then other ones smashing buildings up. That was great fun, that game. And obviously they did the remasters of Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle, which were some absolute classics from our childhood, weren't they?
Yeah.
Most recently,
Full Throttle, man.
So good, man, so good. And
Grim Fandango, Manny Calavero.
Yeah,
Genius.
they were all brilliant. They were all just so fun.
Double Fine. Just Double Fine.
Yeah. So they released Psychonauts 2 was the latest thing that they released in 2021. I never finished it. I got about halfway through. Really enjoyed it, but again, I just not having enough time. I end up, something else comes out, and it's just difficult to split your time across different games. But it was incredibly well received, and it was
fun
from
game.
what I saw and what I played. It was really, really good. Did you guys get a chance to play it?
I played a little bit of it, but I was still running through the original Psychonauts. The plan to go back to Psychonauts 2, and I never finished Psychonauts because, again, like you said, got distracted with something, and then got back to But the whole when Double Fine land, they land well. They really do a good job. Their humour's great. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not all slam dunk surefires, but like when they land, they're killer.
They're a creative outfit, aren't they? They work on stuff they want to do. Because I think it was quite recently, I was watching, it was a podcast, I think it was one of the IGN podcasts. Ryan McCaffrey, a big Xbox guy, he'd said he'd love to see Tim Schafer take hold of the Fable universe. Because he thinks the humour would work really well, it'd go that way. And he said, you know what, I wouldn't, even if they offered to me, I wouldn't do it because I'm not personally interested in it. And it's our teams. We all bring ideas to the table and we think, right, actually, we're really excited about that. Let's work on that. All right, let's work on this. So they're guided by their creative juices and the way they want to go. So
that's the best way to be, though. If you're doing something creative, you've got to love what you do, because if you do it, it'll always come out better because you're more
and you
invested.
make things like Arcane, the TV show. Because that was creative.
Which we were just to be clear, everyone, we were all gushing about Arcane before we went live earlier. We were just all like, there's Alan in particular is a big fan of Arcane.
I'd sell a kidney just to have a copy of that in my house right now.
But it's true though that if you're true to your artistic, like whatever it is, whatever you produce will be stronger for it. If you're forced to do something, it's never going to be as good.
That's how I feel every morning when I go to the loo.
It's artistry.
It takes time. You can't rush it.
You've got a talent there, man. Just one line, just to really change the tone of a conversation.
it's a skill. I'll give him that.
That's why I get the ticket in every week.
Dear oh dear. Nothing we know that's coming from Double Fine Studios. Do you reckon we'll see anything pop up? I mean, Tim Schafer and the team work closely. Don't think we'll see anything.
I think we're too close from the release of Psychonauts 2. Yeah. I think there will be something. They'll be working on something, but I don't think we'll be unless they've had something in line whilst they were finishing Psychonauts.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a solid anything in place just yet.
Yeah, too early. I agree, definitely. Right, next one we've got is Roundhouse Studios. Founded by Bethesda, Roundhouse Studios is a successor to Human Head Studios, a developer of the original Prey, which was a fantastic Xbox 360 game.
Was that the one which was all like based in the Indian law with the American Indian law? Loved that
And there was
game.
all the portals changing sizes, walking up walls.
Loved that game.
So
Do not
good.
understand how that did not get a better received and a sequel immediately.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the
Steve.
trailer? Did you ever see the trailer for the cancelled sequel for it?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Bounty
was
Hunter on space
so
station.
good. So good. And I was like, no, how can you cancel that? That looks so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we loved that old studio. We've not seen anything else from there, really. You know, since it's kind of been fired up in 2019, they're working on unannounced projects. So could there be something sitting in the background that actually this is something they could pull out the bag quickly?
Resurrection of the Prey sequel. Resurrection of the Prey sequel. Resurrection of the Prey sequel.
I can't help feeling that's unlikely.
Well, Prey has already been kind of adopted by Arcane Studios,
Shut up!
hasn't it?
That killed my dream.
We'll call it something different.
Yeah.
Hunted.
Yeah.
Lone Star, like the next generation, that's what it is. It's like you remember Lone Star TV show? It's that, but the next generation, so it's more gritty and hardcore. There you go, Bounty Hunter. And
Lone Star, I don't know.
Do you remember Lone Star, the old Western cartoon back as kids?
Brave Star.
Brave Star, sorry, yes, Brave
Star.
Yeah,
Strength
with
of the
30
bear, speed of the puma.
Yeah, that's it. Eyes of the Hawk. Yeah, that guy.
Speed of the wolf.
Yeah, no, it was Speed of the Puma. Was it Eyes
Eyes of the Hawk, speed of the wolf.
No, it was Speed of the Puma, wasn't it? It was
Eyes of the Hawk,
Speed
Ears
of the
Wolf.
Puma. Ears of the Wolf. That's it. Ears of the Wolf.
This is what the people have really tuned into here.
Yeah.
I moved my camera again, and it was the horse was called 3030. Do you remember his horse?
Yes, and he
It's
turned it
30-30.
into a biped.
with a massive shotgun, didn't he? Like a massive shotgun.
Do you remember the sheriff was some little funny guy? Yeah, hey, Master Brave Star.
With the Texas Pete was the bad guy. Texas Pete was the bad guy. Oh,
mate.
I thought this better come up because I just thought this was important information here.
You're right, Alan. You're enjoying it. Oh, sorry. It was just from Ryan. Hello. Sorry,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching. I was playing Force Unleashed. Good game,
Good
mate.
lad.
Glad you enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
to be fair, we'll let him off because that's a quality title. So
He wouldn't have been able to understand what the hell you were just talking about Brave Star anyway. He wouldn't have had a clue.
I might have shown him.
Most
one day,
people wouldn't.
but He probably just
Brave
ignored
Star
it.
though, what a show! What a show!
Brave Star.
So yeah, Brave Star. There you go. Brave Star. Like that's the Prey sequel is resurrected as Brave
There
Star,
we
the
go.
next generation. There you go.
You
So-
heard it here first, kids. Roundhouse Studios are working on the Brave Star Bounty Hunter game set in the Prey universe. That would be so cool. Right.
Yeah, you're right. It would be amazing. There's no question at all. That'd be incredible.
Right, next one we've got is id Software. Obviously, massive studio, very well known for Wolfenstein 3D, Commander Keen, the Doom series, the Quake series. We don't know what they're working on at the moment. Are we going to see another Doom sequel?
Of course
What do
we
you
are.
think?
Of course we are.
But are we going to see something this time?
Whether we'll see it now, I don't know. But there will be another Doom. Why wouldn't they? Like it's on fire, right? It's like.
Yeah.
You know, the only reservation I have about the next Doom game, and it is a big one for me because it's so vital to Doom, is they need to make up with Mick Gordon for the music. Because a Doom game in the current generation without Mick Gordon on the music will not be the same. I don't care what anyone says. That music is so quintessential to Doom in the rebooted universe that they have to make up, like they have to apologise to him, get him to the album to remaster, whatever it takes. But that man wrote the greatest, and we were talking about this before the stream as well, which there's a story for another pod, we'll talk about it. I watched a video on it, but I want to see a new Doom game, whatever that may be, and I want to see Mick Gordon back on the tunes. I want more Doom because it's bloody brilliant. Because they did that amazing thing with Eternal where they took Doom 2016, which was already quintessentially the perfect Doom experience, and somehow made it better. And it's like, you know, by little tweaks. They didn't massively change the formula. They just took the formula and went, okay, how do we make it better? And so I want to see Doom 3, whatever that is called, you know, Doom Forever and Ever and Ever for all I know. And, you know, Forever Ever After. There you go. Doom Forever
Doom
Ever After.
Returnal.
Doom a week next Tuesday.
And And I think it'll be a real like trilogy. Finish it up, like that'd be mega. But yeah, I think there's going to be a new Doom game. I don't think it'll be this year. I think it's going to be like in a year or two's time, personally.
Well, I know Alan will be excited for a new Doom game because when we went down to XO19, we walked into the hall and Alan went Doom Eternal, and just ran for the stand.
That's an uncanny impersonation. That's exactly what I sounded like. But I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't know whether id Software. I mean, if you look at their like release schedule, I mean, you're looking at 2019 Rage 2, 2018 Quake Champions, 2020 Doom Eternal. It's like, and 2016 was of course, the Doom remake or redo. And you look at that, it seems every 2 or 3 years. Well, we are 2 years since the release of Doom Eternal, so maybe we are due to have a little bit of a news flash from id Software about their next. Exactly. I mean, it's been 2 years, and the longest they seem to go in between announcing a new project is 2 to 3 years.
I can't believe it's been that long. I can't believe it's been that long.
It has.
Yeah, you're right though. It is.
It's amazing those years. It's weird. It's almost like we were locked in our houses for 2 years. It's really bizarre.
Were we?
Seems to have disappeared. It's like my wife and I. We were booking a holiday for September, and we were talking about, was the last time we went on holiday? And it's like 3 years ago. What do you mean 3 years ago? Exactly. But
yes.
So looking at that timeline, I'd have to say, by that reckoning, I'd say that there's a very high chance that we might see something from id Software about their next project. Whether that's Doom, don't get me wrong, I love Doom Eternal. I'm not completely sold on it as much as I am on Doom. The Doom 2016 was a perfect game in every sense of the word. I think they tried too hard in Doom Eternal to make other things better and didn't always succeed, in my opinion. They added things that weren't necessarily needed. You don't need, as the Marine, to be able to climb up walls. It doesn't work for me. I want to be moving fast, fluid combat all the time. The grapple hook, however, is an excellent addition. Works really well. So there are some hits and there are some misses. In 2016, it was hits all the way to the bank, and not a single misstep.
I would disagree. I love the world traversal in Doom Eternal. I thought that was brilliant, but I totally get and I genuinely can understand why you wouldn't like that. I do get that argument. I think it was a bit of a departure from what made Doom almost, and
it felt like a truly different game.
The Marine doesn't take time to climb a ladder. He doesn't do that. He's just thinking about the next thing he's going to chop in half or stab in the face with a chainsaw.
What can I kill? Where can I kill it?
Exactly. It's almost a ballet of blood and guts and explosions. That's what Doom is. All to the soundtrack of very loud guitars and synthesizers. That's what Doom is. It's an experience. So and I hope that id Software, whatever they're working on, have that same level. Rage 2, I got that as well. And while it didn't have the same impact, it had a lot of the similar combat beats.
Rage 2 wasn't id, was it? Rage 2 wasn't id. That was Avalanche, yeah.
Right, but anyway, it was using the same engine, so stuff like that. And so I'm looking forward to whatever they do, whether they want to make a third game in the series and push it further, that'd be great. But equally, if it's something different and a different IP, I'm also very excited because as a game developer, they're very exciting and have been producing games that I've very much wanted to play, usually considerably drunk, ever since I was a teenager. So I'm always happy to see another game from them.
I think it had that great story where they took Doom is a great example where they took a franchise which everyone basically had assumed was dead. Doom had been and gone. And they were like, oh, here's Doom, and it's just called Doom. And you're like, well, what do we need a new Doom for? And then it shows up and you're like,
the first trailer we saw on that, was it 2015 E3? Yeah. And we sat there and we watched that and we all sort of turned around and looked at each other and went, holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's watch that again. And we watched it about 6 times, didn't we? Over and over again, because it was just like, it was just amazing colours on the screen. And just now, it's just...
I still listen to the soundtrack regularly in the car.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is in rotation 100%. But it's like, I'd never forget one of the things Doom does so well, that first one, and the second one, those glory kills were like the most perfect addition to any game ever. It's like, I'm going to jump on this thing and tear its eyeball out and then shove it in its mouth. You're just like, I love it! I could do that all day and it'll never get boring, Ever.
And it never does, strangely enough. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. It never gets boring.
Yeah,
So,
it's
I'm
amazing.
very excited, and I think there's a very high percentage. There's more of a chance to see something from them than there is to not.
Yeah, it's true. Given the time frames, I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good shout, Adam. Good shout.
Cool, yeah, nice one. Right, next one we've got is In Exile. So Brian Fargo's studio back from 2002, purchased by Microsoft in 2018. That was around the time that they announced Wasteland 3, which was a cracking little game, although annoyingly, me and Alan playing through that, if you played as the co-op person, full of bugs. Absolutely fine for the first player.
A real shame. Because
Really
again, we
was. It
saw
ruined
that
my experience.
originally at the
Yeah.
Expo 2019,
Yeah.
didn't we? And
We sat and played it for a while on PC.
We did,
didn't we?
and then when it came out, we played it on the PC for a while, or on the
Yeah.
Xbox, sorry. And your experience was absolutely awful. And
I had the
wanted to
exact
play
same
co-op.
experience as Craig.
And we
Yeah.
never went back and picked it up. But I know that it was very well received, and a lot of those bugs were ironed out. And again, we are talking about a game that's now been out nearly 3 years.
Yeah.
So I would
Apparently, it's in a
expect
really
to
good
see-
state now.
I would expect to see something from this developer again if they're working on something. Then I would hope to see something
So-
from them.
I'm going to put something out here for you, Alan.
Oh, here we go.
So we've got Obsidian doing Avowed, like the Skyrim type thing.
Mm-hmm.
What if in Exile we're doing a Wasteland like Fallout?
That would be really, really cool.
Huh?
Yeah,
that would be
I
pretty
like
cool,
that.
wouldn't it?
I mean, there are a couple. I can't think of the names, but I know there's is it XL2 or something that's come out recently. They're sort of that type of game. Yeah, sort of space, sort of more a futuristic type game like that. I'm trying to think what it's called. But anyway, moving on. But yeah, that would be very, very tasty if they brought out something like that. And they've got the pedigree for it. And they've also done, they did Torment, Tides of Numenor, which again is a Pillars of Eternity, Baldur's Gate type game, based on the Torment games back in the Icewind Dale Baldur's Gate days. And again, so they've got a high pedigree on RPGs. So that would be very exciting.
Yeah. So who knows? Might see something from them. Like I say, we don't have any tips. We don't know anything about what's coming up. We can just hope that maybe there might be something from some of these. Tango Gameworks is another one. Now, I mean, we're never going to see anything from this. It's the Shinji Mikami studio who did the Resident Evil games. Obviously, Evil Within as well, and Evil Within 2, and they've just released Ghostwire Tokyo on the PS5. Again, one of those deals that was just trickling over around the time of the acquisition. We know that's going to come to the Xbox. It's like a 12-month exclusive period, so we'll see that at some point. To be honest, it doesn't interest me whatsoever.
It's had mixed reviews. I think it's not.
It's a very genre game, isn't it? It's very.
It's got some very interesting points and some really good aesthetics in it, but gameplay wise, it seems really kind of a bit humdrum, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of horror games myself, anyway. So, I think with this one, we ain't going to.
I tried to play the Evil Within, the first one, and I played it for about half an hour and ended up just running around hiding in a corner because some big guy was chasing me in the dark, and it's just too scary.
Mate, I will never forget my first. That reminds me of the first time I played Alien Isolation. I get to the point where the alien comes out of an event and kills someone. It's not the first time you actually encounter the alien; it's just there. And I was like, ah! And I ran to the next room screaming, sat in the corner, going, "Oh God! And that was it. Got on a train. I was like, no, I just can't take any more of this. There's no way I can deal with that level of stress. I'm done. It's
My
like, no.
Alien Isolation experience wasn't that dissimilar. I played all the way through, dodged the alien a couple of times, ran out into a hallway, got killed by the aliens, turned off my Xbox.
Yeah.
Never put it on again. Ever.
First time I played it, I decided I'm going to get really into this. I had my Turtle Beach X.
Why? Why would you
That was
do
a
this?
bad idea.
Turned right up. I had the
Did
lights
you turn
on.
the lights off?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
sat down in front of the TV on the floor. Chris was sat on the chair, playing on her iPad. And as soon as the alien came, I literally screamed, threw my headphones off with the controller, ran and turned the light on, and she was just sitting there pissing herself. Because that was it. Nah, I'm done.
I say my first ever Alien Isolation experience. My first ever one was at Eurogamer, and I'm playing it in a room, right? And I've got the headphones on, playing it, and I'm playing one of these levels you have to get from A to B, and I'm proper ninja my way around. I'm like, right, yeah, if I go down here, and I got to the point, it's like, well, I need to get over there, but it's kind of creeping around there. But what I'll do is I'll run, and I'll get away from it, forgetting that if you run, it hears you as clear as day, right? So I like leg it across this room, and then I hear this noise. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And I turn around, and it's like across the room, just looking at me. I'm like, oh, this is going to go badly. And like the thing just was on me like lightning, right? To which, bear in mind, I'm at a demo in Eurogamer, right? I literally went, threw the controller at the screen, jumped out of this chair about 5 feet backwards, headphones come flying off my head towards the set. And then I'm like, I suddenly realise where I am. I'm just like,
in public.
I'm like, yeah, cool. No one saw that. And I sit back down, put the headphones on, and just carried on. But oh my days, I flew out of this chair.
It's all testament to how good that game is.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. That's the problem, is it's too good. I just can't make it through it. I don't have the cojones to sit through that game. It terrifies the life out of me.
But I don't see anything new in the pipeline for Tango Game Works.
I have to say, Ryan, yes, I was absolutely like an infant in the dark. I'm sure your dad was. One of these days, Ryan, you may play that game, and if you don't act like an infant in the dark, I will be quite stunned, good sir.
Yeah, I would say. Right, we've got 3 more studios to go, so we're nearly at the end. We're nearly hit the 2-hour mark. It's another long one. So thank you for staying with us, people. If you did, that is.
They've all left. They've all gone.
There's 5 people still watching, so it's all right.
Somehow 5 people are still here. Give us a what's up in the chat if you're still here.
Yeah, if you've either died or you've fallen asleep. If you're still awake by some slim chance and alive, please put a comment.
Just so we can check that
you're all right.
Yeah, just so we don't have to call you an ambulance.
Anyway, right. The next one is The Coalition. Obviously, the massive studio started life as various different sort of Microsoft Game Studios Vancouver, and then it got named as Black Tusk Studios back in 2012. Then, when Microsoft bought the Gears of War franchise, that's when it turned into The Coalition. Hold on, we got something come through here. Oh, sorry, I just clicked it off there. There you go. Look.
There we go.
Luke fell out of the chair.
You haven't broken anything, have you? No?
You do, but for Luke, this is quite a significant thing because Luke kind of has to be in that chair.
Yeah.
Hope you didn't, mate. Yeah. So anyway,
Alan's drugs alarm.
It's been a long time since we heard about alarm, but generally we don't do 2-hour podcasts anymore. I said it later, but there you go.
Right, so obviously we know them for the Gears of War Enhanced Edition, Gears 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics. Now
what could they be working on, Craig?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, huh? Maybe.
I have a feeling it's Halo.
Yeah. A third-person Halo. That'd be quite interesting.
Oh, I made it.
Halo chainsaws. No, they said they're currently focused on a next generation development using Unreal Engine 5. We know with the latest Unreal Engine kind of announcements, they were very present there, weren't they? Because they're like really close partners with Epic.
The cinematic trailer for them, didn't they? So
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we know. I mean, it's going to be something Gear 6. Are we going to? When was Gears 5? Gears 5 has got to be.
Gears 5 was would have been. That's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now.
Is it that long?
Yeah, well, to be fair, Gears 5 just had a significant development where they took the map creator out of Gears 5 to focus on other things. So the map creator has been removed. So if you want some easy achievements, just fire up Gears 5, you get a couple of big achievements. So,
6th of September 2019.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
So it's not
about 2.5 years.
2.5 years. It's been a long time, but I think the thing, like hearing them talk about stuff, I think there's a lot of big part of that studio is just focused on how do we get the best out of Unreal Engine 5 and make Gears 6 just blow people's brains at the back of their heads visually. So I think there may be. I keep saying it, but I've just got this feeling there's going to be a remaster of Gears 2 and 3. I want this Phoenix Collection. It might even be they're remastering Gears 1 again to put it into a more modern engine. I don't know, but I just want this rumoured Phoenix Collection. I think if we see anything from them at this point, that's what it's going to be. I don't think we're going to see a new Gears title yet, because that is good. We know it's going to be Unreal Engine 5. We know Unreal Engine 5 isn't quite there yet, so we know Gears 6 is a bit of a way off. So I think, to keep the Gears fans happy, what we're most likely to see is a Phoenix Collection with a remastered Gears 2 and 3 and maybe Judgment thrown in. But it'll be, Gears 2 and 3 remastered and revamped and, whatever it is for, modern hardware. That's my
That would be
feeling.
wicked. That would be wicked. What do you reckon, Alan? Do you reckon?
I'm not a massive Gears fan, really, am I? I've not played many of them, so I'm. But I mean, I play. I think the one most I played the most with the Jules. We played through the entirety of Gears 4 all the way through, and I enjoyed the experience as a multiplayer experience. I found more than one barrel to hit with melee and blow myself and Jules up. So
it's a little thing that I've got videos of Alan. Like we were playing Destiny 1 the first time. We've just got a video of him walking up, going, "Oh, what's this? Whack, kaboom!" and killing himself on many.
I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like when you play computer games, you always check to see whether the taps run water, whether the toilets flush, whether you can see yourself in the mirrors. For me, it's to see whether the barrels explode. And I don't. You're not going to mess about by shooting it. I mean, come on, you want to live on the edge. You walk up, you give it a tap with the old elbow. Oh dear, yes, it does explode. I'm now flying backwards at 100 miles an hour into a wall. But I mean, I enjoy the job just fine. I'm just not as excited about them as you guys are. But I mean, let's face it. What else have the coalition worked on? If they came out during this presentation with a new IP and said we're not working on it, half the fan base would be camped outside their development studio shouting obscenities of why they're not doing Gears 6, and the other half would probably top themselves.
I think at this point you probably have just all of them going, why have you not just remastered Gears 2 and 3 at this point? Everyone is crying for Gears 2 and 3 to be remastered, especially Gears 2, because it's such a beautiful game. It was so I loved Gears 1, but Gears 2 was the game in that series.
But I have to say that the Coalition, in all respect to them, the amount of work that they do with the Unreal team and that graphics engine, they are one of the key developers that work very close hand in hand with testing a lot of the.
Well, a lot of them are ex-Epic, aren't they?
So, exactly, and the assets in there. So all credit to them, and they utilise a lot of that talent in there to actually produce their games. Personally, I would like them to do something different. But look at Bungie. Who would have believed they would have given up the Halo franchise and gone off and done Destiny? But I mean, it's the same thing at the end of the day. They're a mighty fine developer company, and I would like to see them do something else, because Gears is okay for me. I like it. I don't love it like you guys do. So as I'd like to see them do something different. It's unlikely. I doubt it very much.
I think there's a not a good chance, but a chance that we might see that Phoenix Collection. I think that would be wicked, Chris. I think that's a good chance.
I think it's overdue at this point. I think it's definitely, there's a lot of cry for it. I think it would sell. It would do well. The Master Chief Collection did well, and I think if we can get something like that for Gears, I'm all in.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, on to the penultimate studio, World's Edge. It's a Microsoft-owned studio that manages Age of Empires as opposed to developing it. So it's another one a bit like Microsoft Publishing Studios. So they've been doing the whole Age of Empires franchise, kind of looking after it, caretaking it. They've most recently done Age of Empires 4 onto PC, which is, Age of Empires is a really popular franchise, isn't it? Now, there has been rumours of that getting ported over to the Series X as a console. What do you reckon? Do you think that might happen?
They're complicated games, and I don't know if it'll work on a controller. That's my complaint, or my worry, is that it could be a poor experience. If it's a keyboard mouse only thing, because obviously you can put keyboard and mouse on Xbox, then maybe. I don't know. But the line is blurring between PC and Xbox all the time, so who knows?
Definitely on that point, I would have to agree with Chris that the experience on a PC 9 times out of 10 is a better experience. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not possible. There are games such as Surviving Mars and Stellaris, which are strategy games which have ported extremely well over to the console. However, Age of Empires, I know it's been very well received by the community, which is a very loyal community to the Age of Empires IP, and has been for many years. And they had big shoes to fill, Relic, in making the game. And,
it's very
so
true.
far, it's been very positive. I mean, Relic have been around for years. I mean, they were the ones that made the Warhammer games that I absolutely
Space
loved.
Marine was Relic.
Dawn of War, wasn't it?
Dawn of War. Absolutely loved Dawn of War. And then number 2 came along, and I didn't like that as much. And then number 3 came along, and that was pretty trash.
I've never played 3. I've played 2.
I've tried 3. It's trash. And I've tried. The shame is that you put number 1 on, and it's so old now that it just looks terrible. It's just you can't even get
Dawn
it
of
into
War
a
2's in a
resolution.
nice spot. Doing the water
Yeah,
in a nice
yeah,
way.
but I
Looks
don't
good,
like
it
the
plays
fact they
well.
went less on. I always liked the fact that it was like I just set it up with like 3 or 4 enemies on max difficulty, set them all to orcs, and then start my game and see how long I could live for before the warg overran me in a horde of gobos and orcs going "Rah!" And I always lost, but by God, I lost in an amazing way. It was so much fun, and you couldn't do that with any other game. I absolutely loved it. In the name of the Emperor, and I do miss it. But Relic is a great developer in that sense. They tried things and it didn't always work, and they've done a great job in Age of Empires 4. So if they can find a way to port that across to the console, I think there's a lot of console players that would be very appreciative.
Yeah, I think
of that.
that's very true.
And it,
That's
and
very
it is
true.
possible if they do it right.
Yeah, who knows? We might see something. So, finally, the last one we've got is ZeniMax Online. Funnily, that Z at the end. Maybe it was a little bit in alphabetical order, a tiny bit. So
You just messed up Ninja Theory. Own
I
up
know.
to it, Craig.
I'm sure I did, yeah. Anyway, founded in 2007 by ZeniMax, the studio was created to make massively multiplayer online games, and it's best known for The Elder Scrolls Online, which has had 19 million players since launch, so pretty popular across the board. I've actually been
Although
playing
at
the
least
past few
6
days.
of us are playing it, and then playing it again, and then playing it again,
Yeah.
and then playing it again.
What, on different platforms?
Yeah, on different platforms, or just like, you know.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls Online is continuing to get more and more updates. It's constantly updated because it's still a very heavily supported game. But there are a number of rumours that have been floating around. Again, completely, there's taken with the biggest pinch of salt you possibly can. There's rumours that ZeniMax Online may be working on a Star Wars MMO type game, and the rumour is that it's based around the Mandalorian.
This is the way.
This is the way. I mean, what do we think of that, Alan?
Right.
Come on, man.
I think they should bloody well do that. Is what I think. I think that I mean I've always had this love-hate relationship with MMORPGs. I desperately want to love an MMORPG, and I've dabbled in Elder Scrolls Online. I've dabbled in a couple of other ones, including New World, which I tried, and one based in the Star Wars universe. We even tried that. What was the one we played?
The Old
recently?
Republic.
The Old Republic. Even played with that, and it's just because I just resent the amount of time that I have to put into a single game to actually get anywhere. Now, coming from a person that spent 900 hours on Project Zomboid,
Yeah.
but you build. But the difference is that I build stuff in those games, and I
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
build stuff, and that's what keeps me playing and coming back. Whereas with an MMO, it's a different concept. You're building a character and a class and all of that, and that doesn't always keep me coming back and coming back. However, a Star Wars game where you get to play as the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
But
would you want to? This is the problem, isn't it? Because everyone would just be the Mandalorian. Because you just have just everyone in the world.
You
being
can
the
have Mandalorian parties. We can get together and do a Mandalorian.
Maybe
dance.
it's just on Mandalore.
Because, before the fall, yeah. But
Yeah.
now I remember the problem with Star Wars Galaxies was, or one of the early problems with it was, when they had the MMO for Star Wars Galaxies.
Everybody wants to be a Jedi.
Everyone wanted to be a Jedi. No one knew how, and then someone found out how to become a Jedi, and then everyone was a Jedi, right? And it was like, well, I mean, not everyone, but almost everyone was a Jedi, and it was so ridiculous, it kind of killed it because everyone just wanted lightsabers. They didn't really give a.
It's the same with Elite
about anything
Dangerous.
else.
Everybody wants a cruiser, one of the 2.5 billion spaceships. Everybody farmed and grinded and bought one, and you go into every star system in Elite Dangerous now, and there's just dozens and dozens of of these cruisers sat there with nobody playing them because they've all got bored and gone off and played something else. It's the same thing. So yes, it is an issue.
It's a problem.
Because if you're playing a game based on the Mandalorian, you want to play as the Mandalorian.
The other
I would
problem
much
is-
rather see a New Order game where it's a single player experience as a Mandalorian rather than an MMORPG.
Yeah, 100%,
to be honest.
100%. 100%. Because the other problem as well is everyone's going to want Grogu. Everyone's going to want to to have Grogu with them everywhere, and it's it'll kill that kind of uniqueness of
Back
it.
there.
But I
Behind
think
you.
there is if you had a Mandalorian base, so it was you're playing the Mandalorian, not the Mandalorian.
There's Grogu. There he is. Hello.
This is the way.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise he was in shot. He's surprised someone. So I do think that that if you had like one base, like you say, on Mandalore or the Mandalorian, say you're part of the Mandalorian, Mandalorians who survived the Purge, the Fall, or whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what it's called now. That whole thing. That would be wicked. I think there's a really great like story to be told there. But and you could meet the Mandalorian and experience that, and meet the armorer and things like that. That would be wicked. But do I think we should be able to be the Mandalorian, as in Din Djarin?
Clearly, the best way to go about this is to make the world, give people lots of classes and characters except be Mandalorians, and then put the Mandalorian character behind a $10,000 paywall. Clearly, that's the way to do it.
This is the way.
Yeah. Have you watched Mythic Quest by any chance?
No, I haven't actually.
There's a specific episode in Mythic Quest where the guy behind the microtransactions makes a sword for like 10 grand, and someone buys it, and he's like, "What's the point? Like, why do I do? Why do I even bother?" Like. No, I think mate, that would be awesome. I think the Old Republic. It was great in its day, and it's still fun to play now. But the combat system is dated. The whole platform that it's on is very dated. It's a good game, but it's time maybe to put that out to pasture and have something new. And I think it could be.
It should become the Old Republic.
And exactly.
I mentioned it already once, but I am currently playing with my son. I'm playing Elite Dangerous because he loves it, and I think that you look at a game like that and you think that came out 6-7 years ago, and they've tried to do things with Horizons and Odyssey to push it into the next generation by having Planetfall and different things, and they just haven't succeeded because the engine has its limitations of when it was created. And then you look at the next generation of consoles, and we've had this conversation, me and Alex, and we've had this conversation about just think if in another 10 years with the graphical capabilities they have, why can we not have a world that's like Elite Dangerous but set in the Star Wars universe or the Star Trek universe, and you get to fly the ships with other people and land on the planets. The technology is there.
It's going to happen.
The technology is there in so many ways already, and there are just a few areas we need to improve on. We could be looking at a game like The Mandalorian.
Do you know what? Imagine, like you said, Star Trek. Imagine having a virtual crew to a starship, and you sign up and you have a shift, and you can say, "I can do these hours. I'm not working."
The Treen journey, Lower Decks,
and they put you onto you're on bridge duty. You're doing op station, or you've got to work on the sensors thing. And if you don't go to your thing, they don't work, and it leaves the ship. But that's entirely possible. But it'd be mental. But
that
also,
like
someone's got to do the crappy job, which no one will want to do. Everyone will want to be on the bridge, doing cool stuff and fighting the Romulans.
I want to polish data.
Well, that's. If that's what floats your boat, Alan. If that's what floats your boat, you go right ahead and polish data, sir. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think the potential's there. It could be something pretty cool. In the future, and I would welcome it with open arms.
I hear some music.
I'd like to let our viewers know that we will be doing a podcast live and reactions as it happens, but we will be far too drunk and far too full of burgers and hot dogs to actually consider even talking to each other, never mind you bunch.
If we go live, we'll get banned.
We might do one the weekend after.
No, good stuff. Yeah, I think we'll definitely do a reactions to after it and see if any of our kind of predictions kind of ring true. Really,
they won't. They never do.
Of course they won't. Of course they won't. Well, that's been a nice long one. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
That's what she said.
Hey!
Oh my word! So it's a bye from me. It's a bye from Mr. Allen.
Whoosh! Star Trek.
It's a bye from Mr. Ratster.
Live long and prosper.
See you all later. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.